Believe it at all. Where's that table right there?
I don't know, pull the gavel, let's go.
Yep, let's go. Does anyone know where our county administrator is?
We can do it without him.
I don't think he counts on the vote.
That's all right, we can go, we
Yeah.
can go. Let's go.
I'll just call him and then I'll get going.
Go for it.
And we'll hit the gavel. Good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon session of the Board of County Commissioners meeting. We did not, please silence your cell phones if you have not done so. We did not finish this morning, and the consultants that are on that deal have some issues, so we're going to pull that up first real quick. So this is going to be whatever it was,
R53.
R53. Come on up, Consuelo.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Consuelo Sanchez. Sorry. I'm the Tourism Deputy Director for Pasco County, and today I'm going to be presenting the award of the bid for the invitation to negotiate for the Wildgrass Ranch Sports Campus of Pasco County and future expansion. Do I get the control? I'm going to start with a little bit of background information for some of our newest commissioners. So the Wildgrass Ranch Sports Campus is the result of over 20 years of county efforts in order to build a multi-purpose event facility. I included as part of the presentation some of the milestones that the county achieved, but I'm going to start in 2017 when the county approved the agreement with Radsports, the former operator, and increased the county's tourist development tax from 2% to 4% in order to be able to cover for the bond for this facility. In 2020, we had the grand opening for phase one, which is the indoor facility, 98,000 square feet of indoor space. Unfortunately, the relationship didn't work as expected with the former operator. So in 2023, we went over mediation. In 2024, we released a new ITN, which is the invitation to negotiate for a new operator of this facility and for potential investors to develop the available land. This is the facility I'm presenting today. So we have 98,000 square feet of indoor space. We have 8 basketball courts or 16 volleyball courts. It's become a national and international venue for sports events. We recently opened 5 additional multipurpose fields. The investment has been mainly from the tourist development tax. So you can see that originally we put $11 million. For the bond, $15 million for phase one. Phase two, which is the additional 5 multipurpose fields, we got a bond for $10.5 million. And we got additional expenses for $1.3 million in order to cover a shortfall from the original construction. The public investment total $37 million, and we also got private investment through a hotel on site. That total $19 million, so the full project is over $56 million. The invitation to negotiate, so we worked for almost 1 year with purchasing, putting all the pieces together, also with the county attorney's office, trying to find out the best way to present this procurement process because we had failed already with the former operator. So we came up with the structure of the invitation to negotiate, which allows proponents to basically present proposals. We tell them the basic information and what we would like to achieve, but they let us know how to get there. So project A was to seek for proposals for the management, operations, and maintenance of our current amenities, which basically were phase 1 and 2, including the indoor facility, the 2 lawn fields, and the 5 multipurpose fields. Project B is to seek for proposers to invest and develop the available land, which is phase 3. And Project C would give the option to any vendors to actually propose A and B in just one proposal. So the county started the process. They released on June 14 last year the documents for the ITN. We received 4 proposals, but 3 of them seem to be unresponsive. Only sport facilities companies was found to be responsive. So Sport Facilities Companies was founded in 2003. I've been in this industry for 10 years already, attending national and international events, and I get to see them everywhere I go. They have great presence, over 2,500 members across the country. They manage 90 venues, all of them sports tourism facilities. They have great experience, and they submitted proposals for Project A, meaning maintenance, operations, and management of the current amenities, and Project C, which is a mix of Project A with potential investment. I'm going to be presenting the key terms of this agreement. So we negotiated a 10-year agreement with the option to auto-renew for up to 5 additional terms. The initial financial commitment from the county is $500,000 because that's going to be used in order to offset any shortfalls. Management fee, and this is where it gets to start really interesting, is going to be $18,000 a month. However, the county doesn't need to pay for that fee. What we're going to achieve with this agreement is that SFC is going to take on the financial responsibility for the venue, meaning that they are going to be managing an operational account where they're going to be responsible for all the revenue as well for the expenses, and they're going to pay themselves out of that account. The facility floor resurfacing reimbursement, that is something that we have to do regardless of who has control over the venue, because this venue was open in 2020, and we have been very successful hosting national and regional events, plus some local programming, so the floor needs to be resurfaced. That's an additional expense of $250,000 that we're building into this agreement. With that, we will be able to reimburse SFC for that expense. We are planning to start operations with SFC, taking over the facilities management operations in maintenance on August 1st. That's the way that we are going to try and work it out. However, if the agreement is approved today, we're going to start a transition with Parks and Recreation and the Destination Management Organization. The staff that is working on site at the Wiregrass is going to transition into SFC. Just the main staff. As part of the agreement, we included an exhibit that includes the people who will be moved under SFC. This is something really huge for the county. Right now, we don't have any kind of capital reserve funding for this facility. Through negotiations, SFC agreed to allocate 5% of gross revenue, not net, which is huge for us because within the next 5 years, we're going to be able to build almost $1 million in capital reserves for this facility. Infrastructure investment. Sport Facilities Company is proposing to convert the 2 lawn fields into artificial turf, which is going to provide us the opportunity to bring additional events, because right now those 2 fields are not at tournament level. Therefore, we cannot use them for tournaments. Room night generation. So we learned from our mistakes. This time we actually have in the contract some language that requires SFC to generate at least 30,000 room nights in Pasco County hotels.
Annually?
Annually, yes, ma'am. Then the feasibility study, this is something really important because the county doesn't have that right now for the development of the additional land. So they're going to have 6 months in order to run the due diligence and come up with the feasibility studies for the available land that we have at the sports campus. Takeover date, as I mentioned before, is gonna be August 1st, 2025. Our investment is a one-time payment of $500,000, which is gonna be used for SFC in order to cover potential operational expenses such as payroll, utilities, maintenance, and any other expense that they need to go through during this transition. And the $250,000 that I mentioned before that are needed in order to be able to resurface the floors of the gyms. The funding source is tourist development tax, so we're not affecting the general fund. The return on investment, you can clearly see that SFC is gonna invest immediately between $2 to $3 million into the artificial turf for the 2 lawn fields. But more importantly, we're gonna have the capital reserves contribution, which is the 5%. Let's think for a moment, even if we remove the $2 million for the investment, we're gonna be able to recover what we're investing today in less than 5 years because SFC is taking over all the expenses for this facility. The recommended board action today is to approve the agreement with SFC for the management, operations, and maintenance of the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus. Any questions?
Commissioner Mariano.
Thank you. One of the things we talked about is parking out there. Parking is an issue now, never mind if it gets even busier. Why isn't this part of the proposal, and why isn't it included in there as far as dealing with that issue?
Yes, sir. It was part of the proposal, actually. So, again, I'm going to go back to the projects. Project A, Project B. Project B opened the option for any vendors, and I understand that purchasing sent that proposal or the bid to over 7,800 vendors across the country. We only got one proposal that included parking, and it's SFC proposal. So it is there. However, the county didn't provide any kind of feasibility studies. They're running that study within 6 months in order to be able to move forward with this investment. Includes additional parking and also includes 5 additional multi-purpose fields.
Okay, so how many years ago did we do Rad Sports? We had Rad Sports on contract, what, 5 years or so?
So it was 3 years,
3 years, okay. And then we had to pay them off. How much do we have to pay for that?
$3 million.
Is that all paid off yet, or are we still paying that off?
We're still paying that.
Okay, so
We're going to finish in 27.
So I'm going to remind the board, we made a decision, and I thought it was rushed. People were worried about not doing things quick enough. When we rushed that decision, we put ourselves in a bad spot. We couldn't guarantee the room rates. We couldn't put ourselves in a good, firm position of what we're going to do with it. And because of that, we were locked in the contract, and we ended up buying them out, and we're still paying that debt. You saw all the money? I didn't see that accounted in for the money we're paying. I don't want to see us jump into something else. Right now, the facility is fantastic. And I want to tell you, our parks team is doing a phenomenal job since they took it over. Room nights are up. Consuelo, you did a phenomenal job with it.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, what you did to bring those people in, just like you said you would, working with Keith, the team, phenomenal. So we know the thing's running good. It's not costing us a lot of money to go. I will tell you, the parking's still a big issue, though. When you have any event down there, and if we're not going to deal with the biggest issue we have in that park, I don't think we need 2 artificial fields, number one. And if you have an artificial surface field that's low and you need artificial surface, if you don't do that properly, which is raising the field up, you're going to get an unusable field there as well and have other issues. So, I mean, if we need to rebuild the field, let's rebuild the field. But if you're going to have 5 fields of grass and 2 artificial, you're not going to have any extra tournaments there anyway.
Just because I know I do my due diligence after we met last time, that was a great point, Commissioner. So my team actually reached out to several outdoor event organizers, including football, lacrosse, kickball, and soccer. And we actually run a little survey to see if they were willing to actually come and play and mix turfs. So they were completely fine with that. One of them, out of 9 that we received responses, said that they would prefer all of them natural grass. But all of them were actually willing and actually very accepting of the fact that we would have two different kind of turf, the natural and the artificial.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as I'm concerned, if anybody's had their kids play in artificial turf, it gets hot in Florida like you can't believe. And I mean, I got people in the audience that are nodding their head right now. I know that plays soccer. I don't coach my kids. I was with my kids, and the temperatures were unbearable. I know they had a great complex up in Altamont Springs that does very well. It's all artificial turf. They use multi-purpose things. But again, if you're going to have 5 of one surface and then 2 of another, if fields aren't built right, let's go build them right. But again, back to the parking, back to the agreement. How many room nights this year have you generated?
21,000.
21,000? Is that for the whole previous year?
Yes, sir, fiscal year.
How far are you now? How are you tracking this year?
Oh, I think that we're right now in track to achieve the same number. I don't think it's gonna be higher because we always are gonna have a slow season, which is basically summertime, all the way through November. So we already lock a bunch of events before. So we're targeting the same amount of room nights this year. When it comes to the use of the outdoor fields, we have been a little bit slow because we have a lack of multiple amenities that have been preventing us from bringing additional events. So we have the concession stand, but it's just a shell. We don't have any equipment, which is also part of the agreement. SFC is gonna actually move forward, purchasing all the equipment that we need in order to be able to bring these tournaments in town.
So if I'm going to try to go hire someone to do this whole project, and these guys want to invest their money in, I'm not sure they're going to put their money in and not expect to get it back. If, in fact, somebody else comes in because they didn't want the parking garage, and now we're going to entangle another contract that could cost me another $3 million or more because of the investments they're going to put in.
So, Commissioner, we addressed that. The county is making a huge investment, $500,000 upfront, in order to move forward with this agreement. So, if you review the ITN, the $2 million or $3 million investment for the artificial turf, it was not part of the original proposal. That's something that they offer in order to show good faith and their long-term commitment to keep this facility state-of-the-art for tournaments. So based on the agreement, there is nothing in the agreement that requires the county to pay back SFC if we terminate the agreement, meaning that if that is the case and we end up terminating the agreement, which is something that I want to clarify also because we didn't have this in the past with Radsports, we can terminate the agreement by convenience anytime as long as we provide a 12-month written notice. Also, they can do the same. So that means that we are not in any obligation in order to pay back that investment. And this is good because it's an additional motivation for SFC in order to keep the relationship going with Pasco County. I don't think they want to forfeit $2 million.
I'm going to say we were pretty well assured, too, with Radsports that we wouldn't have to worry about if we're going to end the contract. And that did not turn out to be the case, so I don't trust that statement. But my thinking is this. If I'm going to go do a agreement on, and they know that we do a feasibility agreement. That's part of the reason they don't want to sign with the parking garage because no feasibility has been done. I think what's wisest for the board to do is to go do the feasibility study, put a pause on this if you want. Do the feasibility study, and then let's go negotiate from there. But until that feasibility is done, I think if you go put all that money into it, if they go put all that money into it, our money too, and then this doesn't work, then what do we get? You get another disaster.
I just have a comment. So remind us how many other organizations they have throughout the country.
90 venues that they're managing throughout the country.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. And sir, to your comment, this is what I'm thinking. I think that if we go back, we will need to start over from scratch because we don't have the feasibility study. Just the procurement process to go over to get the consultant to run the feasibility study is going to take about 6 months. They have 6 months right now in order to run those feasibility studies at no cost for the county.
I have a question, but let me ask if you have any questions.
I don't have questions, I have statements, but you can go ahead.
On the parking issue, so are you saying we're going to do a feasibility study to look at a parking garage
Yes, ma'am. Actually, that was part of the proposal that SFC submitted, includes a parking garage because they understand the need.
So I don't really know how far away this is from the parking garages that J.D. Porter's going to build that we're helping with. David's over there, but I think this is somewhat near, so I'm not sure. But that parking garage, I mean, we should make it a paying parking garage, right? So people pay to park, and then we,
That's gonna
Can
be
use
how
that
they're
to-
gonna recover the investment. Yes, ma'am.
100%. Yeah, I have faith in this company, 90 venues across the country. This is in their backyard, because they're a local company. I feel pretty good about this deal personally.
Can I add to just
Yeah.
what you're saying, is that also, I think easily we'll get to the 30,000 nights due to them marketing their product.
And this is something that I appreciate Commissioners Mariano faith in me because I know that you trust me. But unfortunately, and even with all the relationships that I have been building over the last 10 years, nationally and internationally, I don't have the outreach that these guys have, just because they can move or rotate all kind of tournaments around because they have that leverage. I don't have it.
Yeah. Commissioner Oakley?
No,
No?
I do, Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Mariano?
If you-
Oh, well, go
yeah, you wanna
ahead.
say something?
Seth,
No,
you're ready.
I'm just glad to finally see this project coming back into compliance. It's been a long time coming. Parking is an issue, it's something that we've explored extensively. What are we, $23,000 to $28,000 per lot, right, when we go vertical? My understanding is as the program evolves and gets back on track and with other stakeholders within the overall footprint of Wiregrass, I feel we've had some very positive conversations about a parking garage somewhere, some way. Legacy is not very far away. They're going to be complementary to each other. So for the county to get this off its books, Keith, your team, Kathy, your team's done a great job in interim running the facility and keeping things stabilized. It'll be good to have private operator back in operating it, and then again, saving what, the tourist development tax, 18 grand a month, getting that off your bankroll. I'm sure that'll add some relief to you guys, and then, you know, start growing that fund again. So I'm supportive of this project, or this proposal here today, and we move on to the next chapter of the sports campus.
Commissioner Mariano?
Yeah, and I'll say, I have nothing but good things to say about the company as well. No animosity whatsoever. I think they do a great job, et cetera. The problem I have with the deal, back to it again, is the biggest issue we have out there is parking. We're not addressing the parking, and if the RFP process wasn't done the way it should have been to be done, so be it. This company also says that the feasibility study needs to be done. I think I'd be happy continuing it until that feasibility is done and then negotiate that and look at it as a one shot. Because if you're gonna tell me that someone's gonna go spend $1.4 million for 2 artificial turf fields, which don't gel with the rest of it, there's an issue there, because I know they're gonna wanna get their money back. So that means either they're not gonna improve the fields, or they're gonna improve the fields. If anybody thinks they're gonna put up $1.4 million to do these fields and not expect to get the money back if they don't get the contract renewed and extended out, I think you're gonna have an issue with it. I mean, just like with Rad Sports.
I also want to mention, sir, that if you look at the history of these guys, they have really good reputation for long-term partnerships. So I truly don't think that they would be investing $2 or $3 million if that were the case. But more importantly, I go with what the agreement says. 1, 2, we already went through the experience with Rad Sports that left us a lot of good knowledge, and we actually applied all that knowledge, do's and don'ts, into this agreement. We didn't rush this agreement whatsoever. Commissioner Waitman knows that we took our time. We hired external outside counsel, and we hired the person who leads sports tourism facilities in the country as our consultant in order to be able, with us, reviewing not only the ITM terms, but also all the terms of the agreement. So it's not something that we're coming up with. We have worked very diligently towards this agreement, countless hours, not to mention that we gathered different departments from the county. We had insight from OMB, we had insight from facilities, we had insight from Parks and Recreation, who has done an amazing job operating the facility, also from the DMO and our assistant county administrator. So it's something that we didn't rush whatsoever. We took our time, we learned from our past mistakes, and we put everything together, counting with professional counsel that made sure to cover the county's back.
Well, I'll say this, with the council, with the purchasing part, if parking is such an issue, and it's still going to be an issue, and you didn't address it, and not you, but if it wasn't done the RFP process, then we haven't done it the proper way or the best way possible. Now you're going to have to do another contract and renegotiate again. I think we should do it all up front.
I just have one comment.
Yep.
So to maybe solve your turf issue, we could just make 2 travel ball baseball fields, because that would bring in a ton of money. Just saying,
Starting
we're
a
lacking
battle.
in travel ball fields, so.
No, Chair, to the parking garage, look, hindsight being 2020 on this, when this facility, when the county designed this facility, I think the county, knowing what we know now, I think the facility's too small. We built it too small, and the county probably should have looked longer term in building a better parking design. And all this was done obviously before prices went through the roof. To put the onus on any potential operator to solve the parking problem when the county designed the facility initially, the parking and the facility space, I don't know if there'd be any bidders if it was going to be a full requirement right out of the gate, just knowing how expensive parking garages are. And then we're asking a private provider to come in and solve many problems for us, but then the parking problem, which has a huge financial price tag, a huge price tag on to get it done. You know, I just think there has to be a balance there. And I'm confident that time, and if the relationship works out in the way that I'm seemingly hopeful it will, then system and the markets and the success of that building, I think, will lead to a better opportunity for parking. But I think we need the fields before the parking. I think we can figure out parking, ride shares, drop-offs in the meantime. People are kind of accustomed to the parking headache there. I'm not accepting that, but it is the nature of the situation today. But I think we need to move forward and bring a crew in to keep building the brand, and as it's building, keep leaning on them in partnership with the county to figure out the parking problem, because it's no secret parking's a challenge, but we need the fields redone first, I think, for the parking, and then, you know, work towards parking as soon as possible. Today, I think if we could go back in and redesign that facility, I think it would be designed probably pretty different, right? So, I'll leave it at that.
Go ahead.
Kathy Pearson, Assistant County Administrator, Public Services. So a couple of comments from myself. I was one of the leery ones going into this in the beginning, to be honest with you. But as we have dug and studied and learned and gathered all that information, I am very for this elite company to be taking it over. We cannot compare this company to Rad Sports. It's totally different. This is their business, this is their expertise. But I really want to publicly thank Keith Wiley and the team at the Wiregrass Complex for the months that they took over this, the years that they took over this, the work and the heart, sweat, and tears that they did to keep this facility alive. And to this lady next to me, you won't find a more tenacious, ferocious lady that knows how to negotiate, knows how to get things done. So I just want to publicly thank you, Consuelo, and Keith, and the committee. We really learned a lot through this process, and I am confident we will solve this parking issue. We did do the right RFP. We did A, we did B, we did C. Thank you to Kerry for all of that. We'd had no bidders on it. So, I mean, that's how it is, but I'm sure we will get to that, Jack. I'm sure we will.
Well, you say we did it right, but again, we've got one bidder. How many times you throw a contract, you have like one bidder? So it's a very tough thing to bid on anyway. And maybe they just look at, maybe I can't do more notes. Look, If they've done a great job at 21,000 units a year, and now we're going to go to 30,000 units a year, as far as like hotel nights, and you don't have the parking to get any more fields out there, it's going to be a mess going on, and maybe people walked away from it. But even this company, and by the way, I heard all the great things about Rad Sports when they were coming in too, how awesome they were. Everybody backed them up from the chamber, Porters, the world. Everybody loved Rad Sports, and look what we ended up with. But what I'm saying is, if this company coming in, even says you need to do a feasibility study and you haven't done that, you can tell me you think you did a good job as far as getting the RFP set up, but there's a flaw and they even exposed it. So don't tell me it's a perfect setup, because if you get one bidder, then something's wrong. And they even say you need a feasibility study.
Consuelo, how many did we have download?
So I understand, and Kerry, I don't know if you're here, but this was sent to over 7,800 vendors across the country. And again, Commissioner, we split it, so we were not making mandatory for any vendors to submit just one bid for the operations or the investment. They had the option to submit for Project B, which was only development and investment for the available land.
So I'll say just one more thing to this. If we had done it with the RFP where it had to be parking, had to be addressed, and you had the feasibility study that ahead of time, like this company suggests we do, maybe you would have got more bidders. But because it was incomplete, people looked at it and says, maybe I don't want to mess with that.
Sir, I have to clarify something. The original draft ITN, we were making it mandatory to include a proposal for the parking garage. However, we got comments back from the county attorney's office saying that that was very restrictive. So they asked us to make it optional, which, even with being optional, SFC submitted that as part of the proposal.
Commissioner Oakley.
Are we working on a parking garage for this facility now?
They're gonna start working, they have 6 months in order to run the feasibility studies, which is gonna include the parking garage and 5 additional multipurpose fields.
Okay. And that's the new management company we're asking to go into contract with?
Yes, yes, sir, they're gonna do it. And this is the good thing about the deal. Even if things wouldn't work out to move forward with the parking garage, we have saved the county not only dollars running the feasibility study, but also time, because if we start from scratch again, we're gonna have to start with the procurement process to try and get a consultant to run those feasibility studies. They're ready already, and they have 6 months to get those studies done.
Okay.
On the parking, is there a empty land around it that we can shuttle people there in the meantime? No.
She's my assistant.
Actually, I'm her assistant too. Keith Wiley, Director of Parks and Recreation, Natural Resources. There is an 18-acre parcel that is due north of the existing facility. That is what we call the undeveloped parcel of land.
So we can accommodate, we could get a golf cart and shuttle people and,
So I don't want to get too, go off on a tangent, but, the facility was under construction when we were doing the athletic field ads, and so now that is completed. We can use the undeveloped parcels right now as overflow, but it's a bit of a walk. But in the last year, that was unavailable, so I think the parking complaints were elevated because of the construction that was occurring on site. Not to say that we don't need parking, I definitely know that we do. But yeah, there's that 18-acre
well, that's a good problem if we need parking. That means
Yes.
we're being
People-
successful, right?
People want to be there, yes,
Right.
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Any additional questions?
Does the applicant want to speak, or?
Eric, did you want to speak?
Eric Sullivan, founding partner of the Sports Facilities Companies. I just want to share, we are really excited about this opportunity. We've been working diligently with Consuelo and with Keith and with the team to understand everything that's working, things that have the opportunity to be improved upon. Parking certainly has been one of the challenges. It does us no good to not have convenient and adequate parking. So I do believe what Keith shared recently with the construction of the outdoor fields, that displaced some of what was the overflow parking previously in place. We have full intention of solving the parking solution as part of what was Part C of the ITN. We have proposals from multiple parking garage developers, the builders of these things. 2 out of the 3 are local here in the Tampa Bay region, and it's going to be the #1 priority we address, assuming we get the opportunity to coming out of today.
Excellent. Okay, it's not a public hearing kind of item, it's to the board.
So I'm
Anything else,
gonna go
Councilwoman?
back to the motion. The motion, we have multiple motions today, but the main one is to approve the award of the bid number ITN D5 24-113 to Wiregrass Ranch SFM, which is the name of the company, for the management, operations, and maintenance, and for the potential of the future expansion of the available land for $705,000.
No, that's not.
I'm sorry, my English, you know?
You better fix that. 750,000. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, and we're going to delegate to the county administrator. So-
Are these independent votes, motions
Yeah.
and votes?
No, it's just one.
You can combine these into this 1, 2, and 3 would be the staff's recommended motion for the board to make.
All right, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3 together.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so that motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations. Whoops. Okay, now we will move on to our public hearing. And we have quite a few continuances here. So P54.
Okay, sorry about that. P54 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on April 30th, 2025.
Victoria Pitos, Planning Development Economic Growth Department. Item P54 is PD 250013. This is an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan, known as the Arcola Townhome Project. This is recommended to be a continuance to the August 19, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting in Newport Richey at 1:30 p.m.
Move to continue time certain?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
P50.
Is this roll call, Jeff?
Continuances? No.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, P55.
All right, P55 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times, February 5th, 2025.
Item P55 is PDE 250054. This is an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan for a project known as the Little Road PD, located at Little Road and Jasmine Boulevard. This item is being recommended for a continuance to the August 19, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting in Newport Richey at 1:30 p.m.
Move to continue time certain?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, P56.
P56 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times, March 5th, 2025.
Item P56 is actually the companion to item P60 on the agenda. This item is an ordinance by the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners amending the Pasco County Land Development Code, amending Section 1001 docks and seawalls. However, this item is the adoption hearing that we are requesting continuance to the August 19, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting.
So, oh,
Because of the continuances of this item, the 2 hearings ended up on the same agenda. So 56, you can't take action on, it needs to be continued because the first hearing is shown as number 60 on the
all right,
agenda.
but do you think that'll be confusing to people, that they see that it's being continued? That
Well,
maybe wanted to speak to this?
Number 60 is the item that is the action item on your agenda.
So move to continue time certain on P56.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't know.
So we have individuals signed up for P56. We can
Yeah,
ask them if
see,
they want
I
to
mean,
speak when we
it's-
get to
it's
P60.
confusing.
It's advertised as continuance, we can continue it. They can wait and talk about the next item.
On
which
P60.
we
I'm
will
sorry,
talk
hang on a
about.
second.
P60 is your first reading of that ordinance.
Okay, well, we have people signed up to speak to P56.
Well, we can call
Then
them
I would suggest that
P60.
they speak to P60
Okay.
then. Yeah.
And since it was advertised as a continuance,
That's right.
okay. P57.
Thank you. P57 was advertised in Tampa Bay Times, June 4th, 2025.
Item P57 is PDE 250124. This is an ordinance amending the Pasco County Ordinance Number 21-18, expanding the boundaries of the Connerton East Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190 Florida statutes, providing for miscellaneous provisions, providing for an effective date. This comes to you with the recommendation to adopt the ordinance by roll call vote.
Terry, can you put the map up, please? Because I want to discuss what I was texting over there to you. And
Yeah.
I have a couple questions on Connerton.
Well, Madam Chair, number 57, it has it in my district, but that Connerton, I believe, would be in District 2.
That's correct. District 2.
Okay, so we'll need to address that as well, maybe in the motion. Well, what I asked you about was where is the Orange Belt Trail shown on this map?
I hope that comes after the Collier Parkway extension through this project, right, Mike?
This is a map of the CDD boundaries.
I know, but we're expanding it, right? Over here along Aaron Cutoff? Is that hatched area, the expansion?
Yes,
Isn't that along Aaron Cutoff?
that would be on the east side of Aaron Cutoff.
Okay, so where is the Orange Belt Trail along the Orange Belt Trail is coming up Aaron Cutoff. So what I'm asking is, where is it on this map? So I know that we've protected that very important piece of land. I don't know if it's on the east side or the west side.
It is,
I mean, I don't know. I was going to, Branford, do you have Panos or anyone from Engineering Services? I know they're doing the feasibility study for it.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Panos Contes, Assistant County Engineer. As you approved earlier, there is a route study is going to be for Collier Parkway Extension. That study is going to consider the location.
What's that
of
got
the-
to do with this?
Trails want to
The
run with
Collier
it.
Parkway Extension is going to follow in alignment either over the Aaron Cutoff or parallel to Aaron Cutoff. And it's going to be a multi-lane roadway, which is going to have also the available right-of-way for the Orange Belt Trail. So at this time, we don't know which side is going to go, but it's going to be on, most likely on the extension of Collier Parkway.
Well, how does that work when we're going through the park there? The trail goes through Cypress Creek. I don't know that area real well, so, I mean, the route goes through from Aaron Cutoff, through the park, and up to Central Pasco Employment, right?
That's one of the alignments, yes. You're talking about the well field.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the alignments. Right now.
I've
there
never
is-
seen the other alignment, so
Right now, there is a PD&E study going on for the Orange Belt Trail, which they're going to come, the consultant and the study team is going to come in front of you to present the alignments and the alternatives for your approval of the recommended alignment. That's not happened yet, so that's probably going to be happening within the next 4 to 5 months. So the route study, which we will be doing, will adopt whatever recommendation is from the PD&E study.
can you show me where Collier Park is on that? Because
I think, Madam Chair, if you guys show the chair where the Collier Parkway extension, the right-of-way is on the south, both segments of the south piece and the north run, that I think would be a helpful visual.
So that's going to catch up with Aaron Cutoff.
So
Is
there's,
that right?
yes, so there's two segments of the Collier Parkway extension. There's a south piece and then the north piece, which we approved the study today from Parkway North to 52. So I wish they had a map that it would show that run and it pop out right at Aaron Cutoff 52. So essentially cutting, you would be able to get into the well fields as you're,
I just need to
Coming up.
see it here before
here it is.
And is Rebecca here, who's in charge of all of this? Okay, so where's Collier?
See the dotted, black and white dotted line,
Yeah,
Chair? So the north extension,
This is
runs-
the, yeah,
there you go.
It's
Yeah,
going
so-
right through Connerton?
so this is the Collier Parkway extension. That's the dotted line. It's a vision road on the map. And then out here is Aaron Cutoff. That's the solid black line. Right around this location, about this area, I can't see very well from where I'm at. Right around here, the two roads come very closely together. And there's a likely possibility, which is what Panos was referring to, that rather than having one Vision Road, or two Vision Roads rather, in the same location, that one big road take place in this zone here, all the way up to 52.
Well, yeah, but the trail cuts through the park. Where does,
That,
the,
well, that's-
the trail cuts into the park well below the shooting range?
Oh, Chair, so. so
Because you don't want them,
The park, so Terry, we've had how many meetings on this? So what you're recalling,
the
I
pump
believe is
station road.
as the park. Oh, you're talking cutting there,
The
but,
trail cut is on Pump Station Road,
okay,
which is
so the park,
far south of
so you're
there.
not referring to the previous, what was going to be a park in Connerton that got swapped to go to a different location?
I don't know anything about what's going on in Carlton. That's my next question.
All right.
But if you would go move this map.
Madam Chairman, if I can, this is a CDD expansion,
Oh.
which is a financing
Okay, I didn't
district,
realize it was CDD.
which is not going to approve any additional development for Connerton that they
Gotcha.
already don't have.
Okay, but just so you guys know, it comes in over here, somewhere here on Pump Station Road. I think that's where it is. All right, so I do have a question on Connerton, but I do want to meet with you on that. I didn't know anything about the Collier Parkway. Where is the downtown of Connerton? It's supposed to be like the downtown of Land O'Lakes. What?
well, I gotta go look at the map.
It is coming eventually?
Public comment?
Okay. Thanks. So that little piece, just the southern part there?
It's hard to see, but, yeah, so the downtown Connerton is generally in this location here. There's some activity planned for this area as well. So it's generally in this location.
Okay, so it's not a walkable T and D that it was going to be downtown?
It is, it's just in two different areas.
Okay. All right, this is a public hearing. Does anyone speak to the CDD expansion boundary? Okay, seeing no one.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
It's
Aye.
a roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, it is.
All right, District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Yeager.
Aye.
District 5, Commissioner Mariano.
Aye.
District 3, Chairman Starkey.
Aye. Okay, P58.
P58 was advertised in the Business Observer, May 21st, May 28th, June 4th, and June 11th, 2025.
Item P58
Another
is,
CDD.
yes. Item P58 is PDE 250150. This is an ordinance establishing the Blackville Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190 Florida statutes, providing for authority and power of the district, providing for powers and duties of the district, providing for the Board of Supervisors of the district, providing for the district budget, providing for functions of the district, providing for miscellaneous provisions, providing for an effective date. This comes to you with a recommendation to adopt the ordinance by roll call vote.
All right, this is a public hearing.
Which
Does
one,
anyone want to speak
58?
against this
Either way, but.
or for it? But for it.
Seeing no one move
Okay,
approval?
this is an ordinance. All in favor? Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's a roll call vote.
Go.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Yeager.
Aye.
District 5, Commissioner Mariano.
Aye.
District 3, Chairman Starkey.
Aye. All right, we've got another CDD district.
P59
59.
was advertised in the Business Observer, May 30th, 2025.
And item P59 is PDE 250176. This is an ordinance amending Pasco County Ordinance Number 22-39, contracting the boundaries of the Deerbrook Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190 Florida statutes, providing for miscellaneous provisions, providing for an effective date. This comes to you with a recommendation to adopt the ordinance by roll call vote.
Okay, it's not very often we get a contraction. Does anyone wish to speak to this item?
Seeing no one move approval?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's roll
Opposed?
call.
Roll
Oh,
It's roll call.
sorry.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Yeager.
Aye.
District 5, Commissioner Mariano.
Aye.
District 3, Chairman Starkey.
Aye. All right.
P60. All right, P60 was advertised in the Tampa
60.
Bay Times, March 5th, 2025.
Item P60 is PDE 250135. This is an ordinance by the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners amending the Pasco County Land Development Code, amending Section 1001 docks and seawalls, Section 1001.1 intent and purpose, Section 1001.4 visibility, Section 1001.5 maximum projection and location of docks and seawalls, creating Section 1001.6 boat lift canopies, Appendix A definitions, and other sections as necessary for internal consistency, providing for applicability, repealer, providing for severability, inclusion into the Land Development Code, and an effective date. Revised ex parte documents were submitted to the clerk's office, as well as a late ex parte communication that was received, was also sent to the clerk's office. Mandela Hill, principal planner with Planning Services, will be presenting this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Amanda Hill, Planning, Development, and Economic Growth. Planning, Development, and Economic Growth was instructed to bring forward this item for consideration. The purpose of this presentation is to provide details on the intent, history, and proposed changes to Section 1001 of the Land Development Code. The intent of the ordinance update is to readopt text changes to the Pasco County Land Development Code, which were invalidated by the Circuit Court for Pasco County Civil Division in 2023. It is also to provide standards on boat lift canopies. I'm going to provide a brief history of the ordinance. So back in 2012, Section 1001 Docks and Seawalls was created. That was based off of the adoption of the restated Land Development Code, and that moved that previous dock ordinance into that Land Development Code. In 2017, there was a board workshop to discuss, among other items, whether or not to continue to prohibit roofs over docks. The direction provided by the board at that time was to move forward with an ordinance allowing roofs and other similar coverings over docks on privately owned lakes. Fast forward to 2019, Ordinance 19-12 was adopted by the board, allowing roofs and other similar coverings over docks on privately owned lakes. In 2021, there was a board discussion that resulted in the decision to abandon the previous direction that the board wished to proceed with an amendment to the Land Development Code to allow covers over docks. And then in 2023, that previous invalidation that I mentioned of Ordinance 19-12 by the Circuit Court, and that was through a motion for partial summary judgment. And covers are currently prohibited everywhere, including on privately owned lakes. So now I'm going to walk you through the proposed changes and additions to the section of the code. So first, Section 1001.1, intent and purpose. An additional purpose is added to provide standards for reasonable protection of vessels from the elements. Section 1001.3, permit required. This section was included after the 320 LPA for internal consistency. An additional description is added to the type of property for which owner authorization is required prior to obtaining a permit to construct or substantially improve a structure regulated by the section. Section 1001.4, visibility. Additional clarification on the prohibitions of buildings or structures on waterfront property is provided. Section 1001.5, maximum projection and location of docks and seawalls. The name of Section 1001.5 is changed from navigability and protection of watercourses to maximum projection and location of docks and seawalls. The previous prohibition of obstructions in the section is removed. Additional guidance on the maximum projection is added, and the retroactive applicability of the subsection is updated to provide revised guidance. For proposed additions to this section of the code, Section 1001.6, boat lift canopies, is being proposed to be added, and this provides standards for the canopy dimensions and placement. There are also proposed changes and additions to Appendix A definitions of the LDC. Specifically, there is a proposed update to the definition for mean high water line, and two new definitions are being proposed to be added: boat lift canopy and ordinary high water line. This is the first public hearing of the proposed Land Development Code amendment. Staff research supports that the proposed amendment is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and staff recommends that the Board of County Commissioners waive the requirements of the evening hearing pursuant to Section 125.665B1 of Florida statutes. I'm here for any
Did you say
questions that you
waive?
may have.
Waive the hearing?
Yes, wait.
Why?
Do you want to have a hearing after 5 o'clock?
Oh, no.
That's why you waive.
Okay, so this is a public hearing, and we can.
We have multiple people signed up.
Yeah, does anyone here want to,
I'll listen to the public at this point.
okay, let's hear the public, and then we'll talk amongst ourselves.
All right, so first we had Jay Pasqua, was signed up for P56. Do you want to speak to this item? Yes. Okay, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and then you have 3 minutes.
Jay Pasqua, 12801 Second Island, Hudson. I'd like to first thank Chairwoman Starkey and all the commissioners for allowing me to speak here today. I'd like to also first thank Jack Mariano for everything that he's done for our communities. I live in Leisure Beach, and I have relatives who live in Signal Cove. There have been many, many boat covers that have been protecting our vessels over many years. There is nothing that I've seen in any record that would indicate that a cover has made damage or has done anything to any homes in our areas. As you very well may know, the way prices increase, whether it's on cars or anything else, I've personally spent $125,000 on a boat. And I can truly tell you that it is very important for us, just as you would protect your car or anything else, that we protect our vessels. Reason being is there's a lot of reasons. Number one, the resale value, which creates more tax dollars. And not only that, boating is part of our community in our area. I remember when we passed the amendment that allowed it over the lakes and was a little disappointed that we weren't able to get what we needed. We're not asking for boat houses, we're not asking for cuts in our seawalls, but we're asking for a way to protect our vessels in our community. There are many lifts that are there now. There are many covers that are there now. There are objects that are made out of wood that have been there for hundreds of years, if not since I can remember from back in the 70s. So I do ask that you consider taking the measure into some serious consideration. Number one, don't limit colors. I'm hearing that you're only allowing 3 colors. Red, I don't know what they are. I have a printout, but I think all the colors should be put into place. I'm all for regulation for safety. There's no doubt about it. But if you think of the fact that if you own a $150,000 Bugatti, or if you own another car, you're either going to put it in a garage or you're going to cover it. So when hardworking people are out there, and not all of us are millionaires, and we buy a boat, we're looking to just protect our investment. My grandchildren are enjoying the time. A lot of neighbors come over to our homes. We have elderly people that come, and not that it has anything to do with it. But if you work hard and you go to retire and you buy a boat, and it's something that's all you do, I'm just asking that you take into consideration that you allow us to cover those boats and cover those vessels to protect it. Now, we understand that there's a lot that's been going on with controversy of companies and so forth, and I'm not here to complain. But I'm here to let you know that I now have a boat there that has a $2,000 cover on it that's black, and it hangs over the side of the boat, and it looks like a big blob. And the reason for that is because I can't have a canopy over my boat. So I would ask you to please take into consideration, Madam Chairman and Chairwoman, and all you, the Board of County Commissioners, to take that into consideration, and I thank you for your time.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
How much seawall do you have on your canal here? I'm looking at your picture.
The seawalls in our area range in widths. My personal seawall is 60 feet wide.
That, so are you on the corner of that cul-de-sac?
I'm actually in the middle of the street. If you're looking for my address, it's 12801. I'm directly in the middle.
12801?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I did the wrong one.
Yes, ma'am.
801.
So a lot of the properties do vary depending on, if you go down to the cul-de-sacs, they're 100 feet long. They are bigger. Some are smaller, and the ones in the corners are very difficult to navigate. And I do understand that there has to be, like I said, there has to be rules and regulations. I do understand that. But putting a cover over my boat would save a lot of aggravation in rotting interior, and the fiberglass cracks and it fades out. And the other point that I made before is that when you sell it, you get more money for it. If you get more money for it, you get more tax dollars out of it. So being that we're on the water, I would just ask that you take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right, the next individual signed up is Nicholas Mudry, and then behind Mr. Mudry, it'll be Wendy Jewell.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Nicholas Mudry. I live at 5415 Joe Beth Drive, Newport Richey, Florida. I live on a canal. I like to caveat off the previous speaker. Pasco County is one of the few places in Florida that doesn't allow boat covers. If you look at the Florida DEP, and if you, Commissioners, I brought plenty.
Move to receive and file.
Second. If you'd like to.
All in favor?
Aye. Shannon. Shannon will come get it.
This gives you an idea of a cover over a boat. It's an investment. Just like if you have an expensive car, we'd like to go and have some cover over the elements. If you go to other counties, especially up and down the west, from Santa Rosa County to Monroe County, Pasco County is the only county that I know of that has a prohibition over the covers of our boat lifts. And I just question how many people who have the wherewithal to live on the water and to pay the higher taxes avoid the county because of this prohibition. I ask that you approve item P60 for the benefit of the residents. Any questions?
You don't generally engage.
Thank you.
Okay, so Wendy Jewell. And then behind her, Craig Rogers will be next.
Hello, my name is Wendy Jewell. I live at 6906 Harbor Drive in Hudson, 34667. And I'll be brief because it's actually, in my view, it's actually very simple. The boat canopies provide vital protection from environmental damage to our investments. With rising prices on everything, we should be allowed to do what we can to provide that protection. Just as the other two gentlemen stated, if you had a nice car, you're going to put it in a garage, or you're going to cover it, or you're going to do something. The covers also provide practical benefits, such as shade in extreme heat and sun, which is especially valuable for individuals with health concerns and the elderly. A lot of time can be spent prepping for a day on the water and cleaning the boat when you get back. And it isn't pleasant spending that time in the blazing sun, and I think it causes safety concerns. They're non-permanent structures. They can be removed during hazardous weather. And I, for one, I do that. And that ensures flexibility and safety. We're not, where I am at, we don't have an HOA. And that's one reason why many in my area settled there. These canopies are attractive, unlike some of the properties surrounding there. So, nor are real threats addressed in our canals and surrounding waters. And I know it really doesn't have anything to do with it, but when you compare what we're talking about today with derelict and abandoned boats, crumbling seawalls, and boats that don't follow the navigational laws, I would prefer that those issues be addressed than what we're talking about here today. The visibility issue, I don't see it. I can tell you that my home faces south. The home next to me on the west side has a boat with no canopy, and I can't see any further down the canal than if there were a canopy. The home on my east has a canopy, and it doesn't really affect my view at all. So that's it. I ask that you approve these for the communities here in That's
I
it.
have a question for you,
Mhm.
because I see you have a canopy on your dock.
I
on your
do.
boat.
I didn't know that they weren't even allowed.
Yeah. Did you take it off during all the hurricanes? storms?
Absolutely did.
Madam Chair, we generally don't engage in public comment. We take the 3 minutes and we go.
In an ordinance, you do.
We do?
Yeah, it's public comment in the morning
And
that
I,
you don't
I
typically
see all the
engage
bird
in.
droppings on the top of yours and your neighbors, so how do you clean that off?
Two ways. I have a power washer. I get a ladder out there and I'll wash it off. And if you looked at it today with the rains that we've had, it's all gone. And by the way, they go up on my roof of my home too, so that's not a pleasant look from the
Do you have
back
a
either.
one-story or a two-story? I can't.
I have a two-story.
Two-story.
Yeah.
So you see the roof, so you're seeing all the canopy and the bird droppings from your second floor?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
How hard was it? Are you able to take that off yourself, that canopy, or do you have to hire someone to take
No,
it
no,
off?
no, I get a little ladder and I get my power washer and I wash it
So
off.
how do you take it off?
Oh, how do you take it off? Oh, I hire someone to take it off. We have taken up, are you looking at it? You know I have two, right?
Yes. I see
One
the on
one
your-
is
on your
far,
porch.
much further in and it covers an outdoor kitchen.
Yeah.
The one that covers the boat, we can't take off ourselves. It's just a little too dangerous. So we hire somebody a couple days ahead to come and take it off, and then they come back and put it on after the storm. The one over the kitchen, we have taken off ourselves because
And
it's,
at what wind level do you decide to take that off?
we watch for the storms. When anything comes out, usually 3 days prior,
So how many times have you taken that off?
3.
And how long have you had that?
4 years.
And you've taken it off 3 times?
Actually, twice. We've taken off the kitchen one once, and we've taken off the boat cover twice.
And do you mind saying how much it costs to have it taken off and put back on?
$350 to take it off, I believe.
$350?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's the right thing to do.
It
I-
is.
But I've never seen, I believe the other gentleman stated as well, never seen them come off and do damage. Here's the problem. It's not so much, if you had to buy a new one, it's gonna cost you a couple thousand, right? You can leave it on with as many bungees, the bungees are, I think 12 to 16, something like that, inches, all the way around. And that thing isn't going anywhere, but it will rip off some, it might put a rip in it, we don't dare leave our boat on it because it does have a cage that goes over, and we have a T-top on our boat. So if the boat were to hit the T-top, it could damage the boat.
Yeah.
So we take ours off, we take our boat off. Those that have biminis probably don't have the same issues that we do. But we take them off mainly because you should, it's the right thing to do. If you didn't, it's not gonna hurt anybody's price, it's not gonna damage anything, you're just gonna have to buy a new cover.
The house to your west, is that a permanent roof on the dock? What is that?
That was grandfathered in before permanent structures weren't allowed, as far as I know.
I don't know about that one. Someone needs to go check that one out.
Oh, don't, Tony will kill me.
I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to build a permanent roof on the
No,
dock.
that was done back in,
We can tell by Google Earth,
yeah,
so.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It looks like
Thank
you have
you.
a beautiful house.
thank you.
Craig Rogers is next signed up.
How y'all doing today? Just to clarify.
Rogers, can you just give your name and address for the record, quick?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's
it's Craig
okay.
Rogers, 13738 San Juan Avenue in Hudson Beach.
Okay, thank you.
Just to clarify, we're discussing new boat covers to be done and existing boat covers also?
I'll ask county attorney that.
Existing boat covers have not been legal under current ordinance.
Okay. I guess my big question is, I've had mine for, and I'm just going to guess, about 7 years. Did these companies have occupational license or contracting licenses in Pasco County?
I am unaware.
You're not aware, or you don't know, or?
They're not legal.
They're not legal, they wouldn't have been permitted, so we wouldn't know.
Yeah, they don't have a permit. That's an
Okay.
unpermitted structure that you have there.
Okay, so they were working without any kind of license in Pasco County? Okay.
Well, we don't, I don't know what kind of license.
They may have,
have.
they may have a business tax receipt from the tax collector's office. That's
Okay.
not licensure.
Okay.
They may have a 489 license for some other reason, but they're not pulling building permits for these structures.
But they-
Okay,
But
all right.
they
Yeah, no,
should be. I mean, there should be.
should be,
These
but
are
it,
all unpermitted.
right.
We'll have to deal with that one.
Okay, all right, no problem. Well, when code enforcement comes around, and they come around in our neighborhood quite often, I know they have to see these structures going up.
Are you
I've
saying
seen,
they're coming in your neighborhood by boat?
absolutely, 110%.
I live on the water. I've never seen one time.
Okay.
12, 10 years.
You can definitely see them from the street. I can see my neighbors from the other canal in my front driveway. What I'm saying is, I guess, if these weren't allowed for years, and we have got these, and we're, supposed to be getting them, why didn't someone tell us prior to this?
Wait,
Why didn't?
who said you were supposed to be getting them?
No, when we got these. When I got mine 7 years ago, how come someone didn't say you can't have these?
That's a good question. You should have asked the guy who was installing it if it was legal or not.
Okay, all right, so it's totally on the actual residents. The county's taken no response. So the county is saying they've never seen these boat lift covers. They just appeared one day. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just saying that,
You're asking me,
um,
or us, so.
I guess what I'm asking you is, you were aware of these boat covers being installed, correct?
I had no knowledge you had one installed in your backyard.
Did you have any knowledge that anyone in Pasco County had a boat lift cover installed?
What are we doing?
I
This
don't
is,
know why he's
this
asking
is
these questions.
a hearing on this ordinance.
Okay,
Grilling the county commission doesn't get you anywhere.
okay. I don't mean to be drilling the county commission.
Point of order, Madam Chair? So we generally do, and I've never seen it, you can say we do with different ordinances, but when we have citizens coming up to speak, they get 3 minutes to talk, they go through it, they make their comments, and then we talk about what they said later on. That's how we've been doing it. This back and forth is something brand new.
This integrity.
Just go
Okay.
ahead,
All
finish
right,
your
I'm
time.
sorry. I'm not trying to be argumentative or anything like that. It's just that, all of a sudden this came up. We've had them for years.
I won't answer any more questions.
We haven't had an issue with them or anything. I just don't understand how this just creeped up on us all of a sudden, is the way it kind of seems to me. So we are moving forward to get these permitted and everything. Does this mean that everyone that has one has to take them down and start over from scratch?
Why has this time been reset? Okay.
Do you want to answer? I feel like, I think we need to.
So are we
I'm not
saying
sure.
we're going to take these down and then start over from scratch?
This is your time to speak. We're not answering. This is not a session for you to get your questions answered.
Okay, all right, I understand. Thank you, appreciate your time.
Sorry.
Okay, so that is the last person signed up in the audience, although I believe a Mr. Brent Lee is online. Mr. Lee.
And Barbara's here to speak as well. Do you want to wait for him? Sure. Okay. Mr. you wanna advance
Mr.
him?
Lee, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, so give your name and address for the record, and then you have your 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Brent Lee. My wife and I own 7326 Hatteras Drive in Hudson. And thanks for giving us the opportunity to address these issues. In keeping with what's just been decided, that it's not a question and answer session, I'll just go ahead and say what I'm saying. The way I see this, and many other people, this really only concerns the boating community and those that are property owners on the water. So I'm wondering why it's got to be a concern for everyone. The 3 items I want to discuss is I understand that there are 2 lifts per property allowed if you have sufficient seawall to hold them. I believe that you're limiting it to one canopy, so I feel like there should be the same number of canopies permitted that are possible with the lifts. The canopies must be 3 feet inside of setbacks. That is going to pose a problem to try to cover the entire boat, specifically the bow is what I'm thinking of. And the third item is the 3 colors allowed, blue, green, and beige, which is what I understand. I understand the aesthetic appeal of earth colors. However, I'm thinking that dark colors attract heat, which I'm trying to eliminate is direct sun and heat on our investments. White, silver, light gray, these are colors that are known to reflect the heat of the sun and affect the purpose of having a boat canopy. So I'm just wondering, why the color, I can't see anyone who can afford to live on the water and afford to have a boat, and a boat lift and a cover. I'm not sure that they're going to have tricolored purple tops. I'm thinking they're going to kind of maintain the value of their property by choosing a color that works. But I think white, silver, light gray should be 3 additional colors at least that should be handled. Since only the boating community is really concerned with this, and we are the ones that want to see our community aesthetics maintained, I'm not sure how I would word this with you. I don't know if I would like to see a motion made for a referendum on these canopy ordinances restricted to only people who actually have property on the water, the canals or what have you. So I'm not, other than that, I don't see, I think they should be permitted. I think should be controlled for everyone's benefit, most particularly those that are actually on the water. How much time do I have left?
I think you, the red light, I don't know why it wasn't cut off, the red. Yeah, you're done. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and then we had one other individual, but did Mr. Pratt show up, or is he still? He is not online. Okay. So we do not have anyone else signed up if you want to
Okay,
take
Barbara's
comments
here.
from the public.
Yeah, and we'll take comments from the public.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Barbara Wilhite, 5020 Oyster Cove. That is my home. It's been my home for several years. My home was built in 1984. I have not owned it since 1984. So obviously, I'm one of these affected people because I live on the water. I did want to say in the staff's presentation that there was something kind of missing what I want to point out to you, which is Ordinance 1912 was rejected by the court over a procedural matter, not a substantive matter. So when I talked to David Goldstein, just to clear up, do you have to do this because of the litigation? Do you have to change what you did in 2019 or what the board did in 2019 because of litigation? The answer was no. If you want to readopt 2019, you could readopt what you did in 2019 or what the board did in 2019.
Is that the one that allowed covers on lakes?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that you're not driven by you have to do something or you have to make a change. The second speaker recognized and acknowledged that this has been a prohibition. These have always been prohibited in this county. And I think that's a good thing as opposed to being a negative thing. This is about views, and I stand here not really to say I. Your other speakers all said I. It was about I. I spent $125,000 on my boat. I wasn't able to achieve what I needed in 2019. I work hard to buy a boat. My house has been there since 1984. Everybody's had boats in our community. We have 1,800 homes. Everybody's had boats. It's nothing new to work hard to buy a boat. You cover your boat. You buy a boat cover, you cover it. You hire a company to wash your boat weekly and cover it for you if you can't. Nothing is changed. Please don't change. Quite a few of your speakers, and I read all the commentary that you received by email as well, already have these boat canopies. So they're coming here because they've already violated your ordinance, and they're coming here asking you to change it. But what I'm asking you is to not change, and not behalf of it's on behalf of our community, our county has never allowed these covers. They change views. Now, your speaker can say, and your speaker number 4, I don't want to call out people, your speaker number three says, I don't see the visibility issue because I don't have one, I can't see, I don't have a view anyhow. Well, there's a whole bunch of people that do have views, like myself, and it'll change the view. All the way down my canal, the way my canal sits is it sits east-west. So it is a sunset view canal. So all the way down that canal, there's boats after boats after boats after boats. And if you change the ordinance for the eyes, people that want it for their own personal benefit, you're changing that view all the way down that canal. For something that's been that way for my home since 1984, you're changing a view. I'm asking you, as in 2019, the board weighed this out and said, we don't need to do that. People can cover their boats. We recognize that lakes were different, the view sheds for lakes were different, larger lots, the setbacks are very different from the canals, and that distinction was made, and that was not overturned, that distinction. Your county attorney said it was appropriate distinction, so I want to honor your time.
Sorry.
So I see my time up, but thank you for giving me the time to speak on my personal behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. So I want to speak to this too. I am a boat owner, and I live on the water, and we've lived there. We've had that house, I think, about 10 years, and I've grown up around boats, and I'd never had a boat cover over a boat. My boat was made to be out. Boats are made to be outside. I have a wonderful view. I'm on the open canal. It would really affect the value of my view shed if my views of the island and the lighthouse and Eagle Point Park and all that was taken away because of boat covers to my right and to my left. It would seriously affect my view. And my neighbors, that view goes away. The boat next to me, even when he puts the covers on just his windows around his boat, it takes away part of Bailey's Bluff. So what would happen on the boat cover would be huge. It doesn't affect people on large lots. And maybe it doesn't affect people who don't care about their views down their canals. Maybe they're not scenic, but I know our community, it's a beautiful community, and we love our water views. There's a reason why the side fences for 15 feet back can only be 4 feet high, and they have to be see-through. Because everyone's view those long views have great value, and the county ordinances say you cannot block it. And so the fences are 4 feet high, and they cannot be solid. And I heard that gentleman say that the other counties don't have, that we're the only county that has this. That is not true. My family lives on the water in Miami, no boat covers allowed. Broward, there's no boat covers. It's all over the place, there's no boat covers. And I want to remind you what happened in Charlotte County during Hurricane Ian. That boat cover became the metal of it became a missile, and it went into a neighbor's boat, went through the hull and sank it. And you know what? The person who had that boat cover didn't have to pay for the guy who lost his boat because they considered that an act of God. Just like in Gulf Harbors, during 2 years ago when we wasn't even a hurricane, just these winds come through, took off someone's back porch, the roof over their back porch, went on one of my neighbor's house, did all kinds of damage to his roof. They had to pay for it themselves. The other guy was not responsible to have to pay to fix all. actually, that hurt a bunch of people's houses. So I don't see any reason to change what we've had since the beginning of time. I am all for boat covers on lakes. I don't think it takes their view away. But I don't see any reason why we should be doing this to our communities.
Madam Chairman, before you get into general discussion, can I get you to call for any other public comment and then close
Sure.
public comment?
Is there any other public comment? Sorry, I didn't see anyone else want to come up. Okay, here comes somebody. Do you have anyone else online?
No, there's no one else signed up.
I live next to Wendy Jewell, who got up and spoke on.
Just give your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Florence Carter, 6912 Harbor Drive.
Okay, and you can pull the microphone down to you, so you don't have to stand on your tippy toes. All right. You just
The
pull-
end of
there you
it
go.
bends.
Doesn't go that low.
The end of it bends.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
You may proceed.
She has a boat cover, I have a boat cover, and her cover doesn't block anything. It's not like it's like this, it's like more straight across. So there's no view that's blocking. I mean, her boat itself blocks way more than the boat cover. So that's all I wanted to say, and I just hope you guys make the right decision when the time comes. Jack.
As soon as you're done, I'm going to make a motion.
Thank you.
And you had somebody in the back row raising their hand. Come on.
If you want to speak.
All right,
just
is there
come-
anyone else who wants to speak to this one?
Then come to the podium.
Yeah, come on up, sir.
Yeah, line up if there's anybody else after this gentleman.
I had, I had people from Gulf Harbors coming, but I think they were confused by this continuance. Because Gulf Harbors, they don't want this, so.
Excuse me. Hi, my name is Darrell Whitlock. I live.
You can pull it up. There you go. There you go.
We accommodate all people, we don't
My
discriminate.
name is Darrell Whitlock. Actually, I live in Sun Branch Civic Association, actually the president.
And what's your address?
I live on Veronica, 13515 Veronica.
13.5.
And actually, I was in front of you, the board, probably, I'd say about, was it 2-3 years ago? I think it was Jack. And we talked about this issue. And it was really hot back then, and it still is. And it seems like it actually died down. Since that happened, my neighborhood, I've probably talked to hundreds of people in Hudson Beach. And I found a couple of people that say no, but of the couple of people that say no, they don't want them, there's like 15 to 20 to that one that want them. And I think really we should have the right to protect our boat and our investments. My boat cover, I had it on through the last 2 hurricanes, and it did not tear. Jack came to my house and seen it. If they're strapped down right, I've taken mine off before during the hurricanes, folded them up, put them back on, and I had people I seen that they had left theirs on, and there was no issues with them. Didn't stretch out. Later on, they had come in, they put new bungees back on them. If they're maintained right, our storms that we get over here in Hudson don't really exceed over 100 mile an hour. Inland, I lived in Orlando for 32 years. I've seen Charlie go through over 120 mile an hour, take roofs off. I've never seen a storm over here like that. When Milton came in, we didn't get hardly nothing. By me, inland, it destroyed it. It tore down trees, blocked roadways. Inland, they got more wind, more hurricane damage. Tornadoes drop. We do not have the tornadoes that drop on the coastal areas. We should have the right to protect what we've got there. There's people, my neighbor just spent $300,000 on a boat. That's more than some people are paying for houses right now. I mean, we could have a car out front, we could put a carport over it, no problem, and protect it out there in front. What is the difference in back? They're saying that it's blocking views. My canopy is probably, I would say probably about 10 foot off the ground. So you can look through it to see it. Now, I got 70 foot of property. Technically, I got to put a 60-foot boat out there. Now, don't you think that 60-foot boat will block your view more than my canopy would? That's what it comes down to. We've got investments that all we want to do is protect what we've got. And it is a boating community. I'm sorry, it's what it is. But I guess that's about it. I think my time's about, I got about 32 seconds. But I do want to thank the commissioners for what you're doing. You are doing very good, very well for us in general, and I want to thank you for that. But thank you very much for your time on this.
All right, thanks. Okay, is there anyone else that wants to speak in public comment? Nope.
No.
Sorry. Okay, all right, we've closed public comment.
All right, Madam Chair?
Yeah.
So this issue here, when this was going through, I cautioned as far as like trying to separate the lakes to the canals. I knew my area had voiced the concerns from years before, how they wanted to protect their boats. The gentleman who just spoke, Darrell Whitlock, right beside him was a house that got destroyed. Walls came down, windows are out, the whole house destroyed. His boat cover's right in place. A few others across the way, all in place. So if built properly, they can withstand the storms. I firmly believe the boats, as if you've heard in testimony, that they block the view more than the cover does anyway, and that's why we're doing the silver cover. We're not talking big canopies like was down in Gulf Harbors, and I think Gulf Harbors has a deed restriction in place that would keep you from being able to do it. Well, that's not what I've heard, but anyway. As far as this, I'm going to move that we move this thing forward. I'm okay if we add the colors of white, silver, and light gray as well.
We're not voting on
You
it
don't-
anyway
yeah.
today.
Just to move it forward. But I mean,
Well-
I want to make that mention so we can look at it next week.
So, yeah, so if we can get consensus on changing the color, that's really all, or you can make a motion to amend the ordinance to change, to add those colors if you wish, but.
So moved.
Okay, so we're
Is there a
just,
second?
second. We're moving it forward, we're not
No,
voting on it.
this is
today.
just, this is just changing the colors in the,
Or I thought we're adding. We're adding
adding,
colors.
Adding those
yes,
three colors.
adding.
I'll second that.
Where'd Commissioner Oakley go?
Bathroom.
Okay, all right, all in favor? Aye. Okay,
Okay.
that's it.
There's
any-
still another
any-
motion that needs to be made,
Right.
in terms of recommending that the board waive the requirements for the evening hearing.
So moved.
This is recommending the waiving
So
of
the
evening.
motion would be that the Board of County Commissioners waive the requirements for section 125.665B1, Florida statutes, that at least one public hearing be held after 5 PM on a weekday, and instead provide both required public hearings be held at 1:30 or as soon thereafter as same may be heard.
So moved.
I'll take a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Okay,
And your next public hearing on this matter will be,
August something.
August 19th is what I have.
August 19th.
August 19th.
thank you.
Hit them long, hit them straight, all that kind of stuff.
All right, P61?
P61.
P61 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times, May 28th, 2025.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Paula Baracaldo, Support Services.
You've still got
This is
three.
an assessment resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, authorizing and adopting an amended non-ad valorem special assessment within the county limits for the purpose of benefiting assessed properties through enhanced Medicaid payments for local services, finding and determining that certain real property is specially benefited by the assessment, collecting the assessment against the real property, establishing a public hearing to consider imposition of the proposed assessment and the method of collection, authorizing and directing the publication of notices in connection therewith, providing for certain other authorizations and delegations of authority as necessary, and providing an effective date.
Okay.
So we have individuals signed up? Do
Yes.
you-
We do have representatives here also from our local hospital systems.
All right, does anyone want any further presentation than that?
No, I'm ready to move the item
Yeah,
forward
I'm good
for
with
time.
All right. Then I will call the public comment. So the first individual signed up is Rachel Rexford, and then behind Ms. Rexford will be Jonathan Fisher.
This is really if you're against this.
No,
No?
this is, This is a public hearing on
All right,
this
I mean, you
item.
can speak if you want to.
Rachel is with our, with Adelanto Healthcare Ventures. She's in support of this, and
Yeah.
so are the local
I mean,
representatives as well.
you are welcome to address us if you'd like, but I don't think you're going to have a problem.
So then Jonathan Fisher is with Advent Health, so is also,
Yeah, they're here to speak
Okay.
in favor of this item.
Okay, and I see some others here too.
all right, those were the only two I
Okay.
had signed up, though.
Okay, well, and there's no one else here who wishes to speak against this or for this? Anyone online?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I will take a motion.
Approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. You don't have to sit through any more.
Okay, so P62 was advertised in Tampa Bay Times, May 21 and May 28, 2025.
Okay? This is continuance.
Good afternoon, Joanne Ravita, Real Property Division.
Madam
62.
Chairman.
Yes?
let
You want to
the-
swear?
No,
Oh,
I want to do that too, but I need to go back to
You
the
wanna swear?
the last, I need to go back to the last item.
okay.
Um,
Well, everyone just left, so what?
I don't think it matters. It's
Oh.
just for the record.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to say I have a conflict, so I could not vote on that.
Oh.
Because I'm at the board in North Bay, and I did not vote on that.
For P61.
For P61, yes.
Well, I'm on the board technically of All Children's Hospital. Is that on there?
Well, North Bay was present, so.
Well, the question is, does the board, you're on the actual hospital board
I am.
in both cases?
Yeah, but technically, I haven't had my orientation yet, so technically, I'm not sure how that works technically. But I am on the board of All Children's, not the Board of Trustees. I'm on the board, governing board.
The foundation boards don't
No,
count.
yeah, I'm not on the foundation board, I'm on the hospital board.
So
Right,
the
Jeff?
question is,
What you got?
do you have, do either of, does this create a special private gain or loss to the
Me?
boards that you're serving on?
I have no idea.
I know, but you got
Was All
Advent
Children's,
Health Foundation board members down here.
The intention of the resolution.
I don't think so. We're
is-
just
is
governing.
to allow the
Thank you, Ms. Baker.
hospitals to recover. Go ahead, Paula.
Thank you. So the Directed Hospital Payment Program is a federal program that basically allows states to direct Medicaid funds to hospitals to improve access and quality of care. And so in Florida, this is funded primarily through local hospital assessments, and so that's the purpose of this. Those funds are then pulled together and matched with federal dollars so that then we can redistribute those to the local hospitals, boosting those Medicaid payment levels closer to commercial insurance rates.
you don't have an All Children's in here yet.
Yeah, well, that would mean you're the only one who could
I'm
vote on
good.
this item if there's a
Oh.
conflict.
This is interesting legal.
I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't violating anything.
I
so
mean, I don't think that there's any enrichment that goes on with this. This is just participating in a
Right.
program and allowing hospitals to recover the full cost of Medicaid
I said
expenses.
we
My,
voted it.
my advice for you is that you let your actions stand. I will contact the Commission on Ethics. We can reconsider it at the next meeting if there's truly an issue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. I would not have thought of that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I said yes. I'm really just like.
Well, North Bay was here, so.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can do this
You're up.
one, then we'll do the rezoning procedures.
Quick clarification, so I know you said to let the action stand, but is it still with Commissioner Yeager not?
No, it would be that they all voted for it and there, no conflict was declared.
Correct. I didn't vote for it.
You didn't say anything, which in this state is a vote in favor.
Got it.
Oh, interesting. Learning a lot today. Okay. All right.
Good afternoon, Joanne Ravita, Real Property Division. The Real Property team has received a petition to vacate a platted access easement filed by Arlington Dale Mabry LLC. The purpose of the vacation is to allow for the development of the property. The access easement has been relocated via an amended agreement recorded in 2025. There were no objections to this petition, and the team recommends approval.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
did we go through procedures?
No, but
it's
this
not a
doesn't-
rezoning, is it?
This
We're in
isn't
62.
rezoning, so I let him go ahead.
Oh, okay. That's on you then. All right.
Yeah, we'll pick it up after this item.
All right.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
No.
Okay, anyone in the public wishes to address this one? Seeing no one, I'll take a motion.
Approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now you want to do the rezoning swearing?
There are two rezoning agendas, regular and consent. Staff will present each application to the Board of County Commissioners. If staff or Planning Commission has recommended approval and there is no opposition, the application will be considered by the board without further presentation. If staff or Planning Commission has recommended denial, or if there is opposition to the application, the applicant will be given 5 minutes for presentation. The opposition will be given 3 minutes for each individual or 5 minutes for a group representative, and the applicant will be given 3 minutes for rebuttal. Any individual disagreeing with staff or Planning Commission recommendation, or anyone wishing to object to any condition of the rezoning may at this time request the petition be pulled from the consent agenda, in which case that application will be heard under the regular agenda later on during the meeting. Otherwise, all rezoning applications on the consent agenda will be approved by a single motion and vote. If you wish to speak to any petition, please give your name and address and whether or not you've been sworn for the record. These are quasi-judicial public hearings. The law in Florida is that mere public support or opposition of an application is insufficient for this board to take action. Please limit your comments to those criteria found within the board's land development code. Madam Clerk, would you like to swear the public in?
Yes, please. So if anyone is going to speak to any of the items, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God? Thank you. All right, so P63?
Yep.
P63 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times, February 5th, 2025.
Nectarios Pitos, Planning Development Economic Growth Department. Item P63 is PDE 257721. This is a zoning amendment in the name of Little Road MPUD Master Plan Unit Development by Nguyen Tien. This is recommended for a continuance to the August 19, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting at 1:30 p.m. in Newport Richey.
This is a continuance. Does anyone here wish to speak against this?
You don't need
Oh, we
to.
don't have to because it's
You don't have to do
advertised.
that.
All
Move
right,
continuance.
thank you. Next one?
We gotta,
Need a vote?
Oh.
gotta have a vote.
Need a second and a vote.
Not a consent.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We're down to 3.
Yeah.
Next one, which is
Gonna
the
be
same
back.
thing.
Okay, P64 is advertised in Tampa Bay Times, April 30, 2025.
Item P64 is PDE 257749. This is a zoning amendment in the name of Pasco Mine MPUD Master Plan Unit Development by K&M Pasco 130 Holdings LLC. This is requested for a continuance to the July 15, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting at 1:30 p.m. in Dade City.
All right, I'll take a motion.
I move. Continuance.
Lisa, you got a second.
Okay, second, sorry.
She's not used to.
You're the
she's
only
not
one that can
used
do
to
it.
Got you.
All in favor? Aye. And we're
Sorry, I
gonna,
was looking at a zoning.
that's okay.
All right, P65
yeah.
was advertised in Tampa Bay Times, March 5th, 2025.
Item P65 is PDE 257811. This is a zoning amendment in the name of SR 52 Elite, JDP Elite Development LLC. This is a request to continue the item to a date uncertain.
Okay.
Move to continue at date uncertain?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
What do you think about that, huh?
That's good.
You jumped on it. You can do it again here in just a second.
P66 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times, March 19th, 2025.
Item P66 is PDE 250144. This is a development agreement in the name of Riverstone, formerly known as Renner, MPUD by KB Homes Tampa LLC. This is requested for a continuance to the July 15, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting at 1:30 p.m. in Dade City.
Wait, July? Oh, okay.
All right, move to continue till July 15th?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, P67 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times, March 19th, 2025.
Item P67 is PDE 257838. This is a substantial modification to the Riverstone, or formerly known as Renner, MPUD by KB Homes Tampa LLC. This is also recommended for a continuance to the July 15, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting at 1:30 p.m. in Dade City.
Okay, move to continue July 15th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, P68 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on May 7th, 2025, and by affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
Item P68 is PDE 250158. This is a development agreement in the name of Project at VOPH LLC to design, permit, and construct a portion of Wirt or Elam Road in exchange for transportation development fee credits in the villages of Pasadena Hills. This comes to you with a recommendation to approve the development agreement from the Planning, Development, Economic Growth Department, as well as the Planning Commission and the VOPH Planning and Policy Committee.
It's a consent item.
Yeah, I have, and I love the trails. I love the trails. But these road sections are just so big. I thought we were gonna look at these and maybe do some road diets. We don't need 10-foot utility easements on each side. I thought we had said we could live with 5, first of all. And the 8-foot landscape areas, I would chop that down to, I mean, you can put an oak tree in 6 foot, right? I don't know if anyone else wants to speak to this, but I just feel these road
Does
sections
anybody
are,
have to speak
huge.
against this?
huh?
Is anyone here to speak against it?
I just wonder,
No one has signed up.
there's no one,
That's the question.
You need to call for public comment, is,
Yeah.
I think, Commissioner's point.
yeah. Does anyone else want to discuss these crazy road sections we have? Okay. You want to build them, developers. I'm trying to put more land into the property owners, to the lots. All right, we'll keep it on consent if no one's here
You
to
need,
speak to us.
yeah,
Move
you
approval.
need to call
I
for
did.
public.
Is there anyone online that wants to speak to this?
There is no one online. Is there anyone in the audience?
And we already asked if anyone
Yeah, I
was
did.
here to
There's
speak
nobody.
against it. No one spoke.
Well, I kind of called out specifically to the road, but Jess, is there,
Move approval.
it's on consent. Do we have any others on consent?
No.
No, okay.
Second.
I'll take a second. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, P69.
All right, P69 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times, April 30, 2025, and by affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
Item P69 is PDE 257868. This is a zoning amendment to the name of Casting LLC, Little Road rezoning, change in zoning from a PO2 professional office district to a C1 neighborhood commercial district in west central Pasco County, northeast corner of the intersection of Little Road and Jasmine Boulevard on approximately 3.03 acres. And Amy Tull, Assistant Director of Planning Services, will make the presentation.
Good afternoon, Amy Tull with Planning and Development. So today before you is a Euclidean zoning amendment. The request is to change from PO2 Professional Office District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. The existing future land use is currently Calm Flu. The Calm Flu was recently adopted on December 10th, 2024. The purpose of this is to change the zoning district from PO2 to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. And it is located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Little Road and Jasmine Boulevard. So as you can see, this is the subject site location. It is within the Embassy District of the West Market area and urban concentration area. Here's a context map just to highlight some of the uses in proximity. We do have the School of Christian Academy to the north. It is at the intersection of Jasmine Boulevard and Little Road. Here's just a zoomed in aerial version. The future land use is currently Calm. The subject site is surrounded by Res 1 and Res 6. Current zoning is PO2. There is estate residential to the north and east, existing PO2 to the south, and C1 to the west. So a little project overview. So the subject site is, as previously stated, 3.03 acres. Access from the property is from Little Road, a county-maintained arterial roadway, and Jasmine Boulevard, a county-maintained collector roadway. There is a conceptually planned trail, tongue-tied, segment under the name of Little Road Trail located on the west side of Little Road. There is no priority in the capital improvement for this segment. And the applicant has volunteered a deed restriction to restrict three uses, being a, self-storage, or not self-storage facility. I just had this. Gas station, car wash, and self-storage facility. This was all part of the action that occurred in December to align with the sub-area policy that was implemented on the calm flu. And with that, we recommend approval of the requested rezoning amendment from the Planning Commission and Planning Development and Economic Growth. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
What did you say was behind that parcel?
Behind north, south, east, west. North is currently estate residential. That is a project that is currently under review. You actually just approved a continuance. The Little Road PD and MPUD, that was a mixed-use project that has some stormwater mitigation they have to figure out.
So this rezoning is for that project?
No, this
Oh, this is
rezoning is
different.
south of that.
Oh,
It
next to
abuts it, yep.
Okay.
So this is just for C1, neighborhood commercial with restricted uses.
Why are the parcels looking kind of wonky there? What's the green line to the left of PO2?
To which PO2?
To the west.
To the west.
Okay, I see Little Road. Is that just your lines are not lined up, or?
Yeah, those are just the parcels, how the parcels are actually delineated. So that's our parcel lines.
Would look like that's a right-of-way corridor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that the
are we?
that the commissioner is asking about.
It does appear that as, yeah, so this is the parcel.
Yeah.
Status.
Okay, who owns the parcel to the left of
Right.
that pink parcel?
Can you go back to that one?
Yeah.
This one?
Are those lines right?
Yes.
Interesting.
If you go back to the flu, the flu.
It looks
or the
like,
zoning, I'm sorry.
It's right away.
it is
This
right
map
away?
is simply showing how the zoning districts are flowing through, if you will, the right-of-way parcels as well.
Okay. All right,
You have
I
someone
don't need
signed
a
up.
presentation, but do any other board members want more of a presentation
No.
than this from the applicant?
You have someone signed up.
Okay, it looks like the applicant wants to speak.
I think she's waiting to.
And then do we have other people signed up?
You have someone.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Cindy Terrapini. I'm the authorized representative for the applicant. I don't need to speak, much as I'm happy to be here with you guys. I don't need to speak. If there are anyone who's going to speak in opposition, I would like to have some time for rebuttal, if that's
Sure,
possible.
why don't, I think we have someone signed up, so I don't know if they're for or against, but if you want to wait, you
Thank
can
you,
always come
Madam
back up.
Chairman.
Yeah. All right, is there anyone here to speak to this issue?
Well, before, Alan Rose is signed up, so
Okay.
Alan, you can be first.
And is there anyone else here besides Alan that wants to speak to this? Just raise your hand now.
Move to receive and file.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Mr. Rose, if you'll just give your name and address for the record.
Yes,
Thank
Alan
you.
Rose, 10221 Hilltop Drive, Newport Richey. This has been a continuing thing. We've been working at this for a long time, and things keep being brought forward, so I thought I'd bring you the full picture. Within 1 block radius of this parcel, there are 30 homesteads, all 1 acre or more. Many of them are equestrian or farms. This is not consistent with the neighborhood. I give you 20, and they're all listed there. Osceola Heights, Golden Acres. I can go the other side of the block and give you another 20, all with 1 acre or more. These are a state residential neighborhood. It's a beautiful neighborhood. There is no commercial. You can then take and go from Jasmine, from Lakeview, due west, 3 miles. You will not find a commercial parcel. You will not find a commercial parcel for 3 miles. You can then take from Grove Street on Little Road, Grove Street, northbound, 4 miles. The only place you're gonna find a commercial is where 52 intersects Little. There are, this commercial, they represent that there's all kinds of commercial around, not in this location. This is our neighborhood, it is a residential neighborhood, and we've lost everything else, but I want to keep, as long as it keeps coming up, I'm gonna keep bringing it forward to you. This is not consistent with the neighborhood. And when I'm up here speaking to you, I'm speaking, representing approximately 200 residents that have all signed my petitions. You've seen the petitions come your way. I make sure you see it. The community does not want to see commercial development here. And that's enough for me today.
It's,
Thank you.
thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to this? Right, isn't this zoned office already? I mean, this is,
It has commercial zoning today.
yes, it has zoning, nope, sorry, Alan.
These people who have just moved up.
Was there someone else who wanted to speak?
Do
Did
you
you
want to
guys- did
speak
you
to
wanna
this item?
speak?
We're just part of the group with Alan, so we talked subdivision and
Okay,
appreciate what you're trying to do.
all right.
It's residential.
No, no.
Then you
can't-
need to
can't
get
speak
up
then.
and
If you
speak
wanna
to them
speak-
if that's what you
yeah.
want to do.
And when you come to the podium, just give your name and address for the record, and then you have 3
Okay.
minutes.
Judy Armstrong, 10325 Lakeview Drive.
Okay.
It's just that, just like Alan said, it is all residential around there. It's right next to residential. It's residential across the street. I mean, how do you get around trying to say it's commercial? And our deed work shows that it's supposed to stay that way, you know, so why do you think you should change it? And if it was your subdivision, you wouldn't like it. So please, don't do it to ours. We didn't, you know, we shouldn't have to be coming in here and guarding our neighborhood from people who are encroaching on it in a dishonest manner, it seems like. It is residential. I mean, it's really residential. It's a bird sanctuary, for crying out loud. And so you want to bring more people in to run over more of our sandhill cranes and all the other animals and all the turtles and all those things that cross the road that you have to get out for and move to protect them. Something's wrong. It just shouldn't happen. So, thank you.
Jeff,
Thank you.
did she need to be sworn in?
Oh.
Good afternoon, Cindy Terrapini, Terrapini Planning Strategies, 128 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs. I am the authorized representative for the Castang LLC, who is the property owner, not the applicant, also the applicant, but the property owner. And the Castangs bought this property about 1.5 years ago. It had 3 dilapidated homes that were being used as a homeless camp. They demolished the homes. They worked with the your sheriff's department to move the homeless off the property. They've cleaned up the property substantially, and they come to you with this plan amendment, which you approved unanimously in December last year with the sub-area, special area plan policies that we restrict the uses. We have done those restrictions through a deed restriction, which is before you today, and we are committed to that. That deed restriction states that these are the prohibited uses. We cannot have a car wash, a gas station, or self-storage, or any of the live local requirements. So in previous hearings, those were the main objections, both by this commission, by the planning commission, and by the folks who spoke. We've only had a couple of people speak throughout this hearing, Mr. Rose being one of them. One quick comment about the deed restrictions. Mr. Rose keeps talking about the deed restrictions, and you all are well aware that that's a private matter between the property owners. But furthermore, my client requested a title commitment from his title company, from a national company, and those deed restrictions did not pull up in that title policy, so we don't believe that this property is subject to them. Back to the land use issues, this property is at a signalized intersection of 2 major roads. Jasmine Boulevard is an arterial, Little Road, as you all know, is a collector. Just a couple of comments that the Planning Commission made when they also recommended it unanimously. They recognized that when Little Road was put in, the area was changed. Mr. Grace said that. He further said that no one's building homes on Little Road, and it was recognized that it really can't go back to residential. It does have a commercial plan category today, so the only really uses that we could put on it would be commercial uses. We're committed to the C1, and we requested C1 with the deed restrictions that are before you today. I would just respectfully request your approval. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
My question's for staff, Chair.
Okay. Is the gas station allowed here?
No,
Or is
ma'am,
it-
it's prohibited, that's one of
Prohibited. Okay,
the
good.
four, there's four prohibited uses: gas station, car wash, self-storage, and live local. And that's
Okay.
in the deed restriction that's on the agenda today.
Well, I always think the chair should go last. I want to see what comments my fellow board members have here. Lisa, do you have any questions
Yes,
for her?
for staff, for our staff.
Yeah, mine could be for either.
Yeah,
So
so.
stay
ag-
nearby.
So again, this parcel's not part of the Golden Acres community, correct?
Correct. From our findings,
No, it's not.
Well, first of all, it is a replat of a part of Golden Acres as a legal description, yes. It is not part of the Golden Acres residential community. As I mentioned, my client requested a title commitment, and that national title company did not pull those deed restrictions up as a restriction on the property. So we don't believe that the deed restrictions that Mr. Rose continues to talk about apply to our property. Even if they did, which we don't believe they do, that, as you all know very well, is a private matter between us and the other property owners. So the short answer to your question, Mr. Whiteman, is no, we do not believe it is part of Golden Acres, except that it was a replat of a plat named Golden Acres, but it's not part of the residential community.
Amy?
I agree with that. So through our due diligence, we actually did review the plat that was submitted as part of the legal description for this property, and it does not fall within the Golden Acres that they are subject to.
Golden Acres residential.
Correct.
And those are two,
Neighborhood.
and Golden Acres residential is a separate,
Correct. The plat that was previously identified through the budding residents, that plat does not show these parcels as part of that plat.
Okay, my
These-
question
these-
is,
There just seems to be contradictory. Look, I appreciate the advocacy by the residents for both projects here. This is clearly a major roadway now. I mean, to hold properties hostage is just not, whether by the county or people who don't own them, that's just a tough way to do things. If you're saying, you have customers saying that it is part of it, and you're saying it's not, I think there needs to be, maybe there's just an impasse between what we know is fact and what the residents believe they know is fact. On the project to the north of it, right? Yeah, to the north of it, then the south, and then depending on, I don't know what's gonna go on the southeast corner of Jasmine and Little there. I think there was a house there that was demolished at some point in time. But today, it stands as there are commercial uses, there's commercial zoning on these three parcels, correct?
PO2, so office.
So the intensity, the way I understood it, is the intensity of uses is virtually the same?
Correct.
Madam Chairman,
yes,
if this helps. So on December 10th of '24, you changed the future land use designation of these parcels to commercial.
And now we're switching them.
So this is
To
now the
commercial
zoning.
as a future land use, and now you're making the zoning consistent with what you did in December.
Correct. And the zoning, and at that public hearing, the action was to control the zoning district to C1, so it's more of a neighborhood scale, lower intensity than your C2 district would allow.
So now, we're in a position of, if it's anything other than that, we'd be in trouble for the down zoning.
You shouldn't have changed the future land use.
I'm saying in general,
Yeah.
conversation that now it's gained a step up now, it's kind of locked in.
Correct, yeah, it's
So-
a COM flu now, So any zoning action would be required to be consistent with that commercial future land use.
Are you able to tell us what the use is potentially going to be on this site? Medical, office, or something?
I wish I would, Commissioner. My client does not have anything under contract at this point to sell it to, so we just do not know what the potential uses would be. Medical office is one, professional office would be allowed, general retail would be allowed in the C1, but again, those 4 uses that are in the deed restriction would never be allowed: car wash, self-storage, and gas station, and live local.
So somebody explain to me, Amy, it's back on your side of things. Why the disconnect between what we're being told by professional staff and then what the residents are believing that it is part of the Golden Acres plat?
Sure. We have continued conversations with them since the comp plan amendment was being proposed, and that's when staff did their due diligence to confirm where the subject site is located. So we pulled the property appraiser cards, ran the legal descriptions, and the plats that were associated to those. And the plat that was subject to the Golden Acres phase of the residential community, that plat specifically does not identify these parcels as part of that plat, and the legal description does not support that as well.
Do we have a picture outline of what's in the Golden Acres plat and what's not?
If you give us a minute, we could find it. I could pull it up.
Yeah. And I ask for this because there are multiple parcels along Little Road that I think are going to add conflict between residents and what the decisions this board has to make. So for future knowledge.
Is this little?
Yes. That's a CVS.
What is this?
Jasmine, that's CVS.
On our CVS right there?
She's going to scan it in, so she actually has the plat that is currently being discussed from the residents, and then the replat as well, so you'll see that it's not.
I guess I'm just looking for comfort in the clear legalese on the record from you all to us about what is Golden Acres plat and then what is neighboring to the Golden Acres residential plat.
Sure.
You know,
I have a question for you. Actually, it might be for the applicant. Depending on what happens to the north, I want to make sure there's some kind of connectivity. That's in our
Absolutely.
rules, right?
Yes, so actually, this has been a proactive approach with the county in both applicants with the Little Road project that you're reviewing today, the rezoning, and the Little Road PD and PUD. There is connectivity between both the commercial area and actual connectivity, pedestrian and vehicular, to ensure that we kind of planned both projects as if they were one. So there's supposed to be more of a unified connection between the two that are occurring between the conditions of approval.
Because there's an opportunity here with the size of this property and the property to the north to make some entertainment area for the community. Something special rather than just a strip mall that is vanilla blah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is the trail, I mean, we have reservation for, I know we don't have the money, but we have the reservation for a multi-use trail along this side.
Correct.
Of Little.
And that's all set forth in that MPUD of the abutting to the north, or at least proposed to be.
Right. So I personally think that it's not part of the residential part of the community, and that if we do it right, it could be an asset to the community.
well, what I'm trying to do, I want to make sure Mr. Rose and everybody he's representing, and we know there's a whole bunch of people, that everybody has is singing from the same script of music. That way, there's no disconnect. Everybody's looking at the same documents. We're basing the decisions off the documents that we see. They're looking out for the community, and they know the history of the documents we're basing our decisions on, and everybody has the same information.
All right, I saw
So-
those when I had my meeting. They showed me the documents, but,
That's been a while. I'm looking for
okay.
a refresher. It's been a
All
couple
right,
of
so they're
weeks.
doing some research here?
So to answer the commissioner's question, this is Golden Acres Unit 1, which you're seeing. Now, keep in mind that Little Road didn't extend this far north. So when this was platted, I believe 1978. So here's Golden Acres. Our property is like just off that plat, just a little bit. So, and the other reason I've highlighted the yellow is I just highlighted the streets, just to give my, just to orient myself. It's a little, again, like a little tricky to say because Little Road does not exist this far north when this was platted. Now, if you go to the second page, this is the property that is the rezoning case. It's all of this property, all 4 lots. It's a replat of part of the original Golden Acres, but again, it's not in this original plat that had the deed restrictions. And again, my client has a title company who has issued a title policy that states that does not include those deed restrictions as one of the requirements. So we do not believe we're subject to that. I would also say that after the December meeting at the plan amendment before you all in December in 2024, my client and I spoke to Mr. Rose after the meeting. I committed to him that I would call him and email him when our public hearing was scheduled for the rezoning. He seemed fine with the deed restrictions, as we talked about it at y'all's hearing in December. He seemed fine with it, so I was kind of mystified when he showed up because I did send him a letter and I did tell him about the hearing before any notice went out. And also, Mr. Rose is not anywhere near the notice area. He's about 1.5 miles away on Hilltop, which is the next road east of this site, the next north-south road east of Little Road. So while I appreciate his activity and his advocacy, I don't quite understand how he would be affected. We are going to be.
It's not, there's a neighboring parcel that's up for review. And a whole bunch of people
Sure.
came out.
Yes, sir, I watched the tape.
And Mr. Rogers, he advocates for different things on our coast and everything else, so I think he has a little bit of credibility on what he represents in the community he represents. So Amy, you say you believe that there's not the deed restrictions on there. It's a black and white issue for me. Are there the Golden Acres deed restrictions, residential deed restrictions on these parcels or not? It's yes or no. I don't want to believe, we believe it's either they
Well, the
were
title
there
co-
or
the-
they're not.
The title company paid for, title policy issued to my client says they are not.
They are not.
And they are as far as I'm concerned, they're much more of an expert than I would be. It's a title company, they do the research, as you all know. We have that title policy. If you want me to enter it in record, I would. It does not list the deed restrictions that Mr. Rose and these folks are discussing. It does not list that as an exception to the title policy.
Okay. I think because this keeps coming up, Chair, should we add that title policy into the record? Because we keep having these, this is such an old project from decades and decades ago. County Attorney, should we add that type of level of detail into the record for these as these older communities evolve?
Madam Chairman, Commissioner, whether or not there are deed restrictions is really irrelevant to your zoning decision. And as I said before, I think when you made the change in December, you set the zoning that this parcel was going to be having in the future. If there are deed restrictions, and then it's a civil action between the property owners. But there's been nothing shown, and I trust planning department's review.
Yeah, I just don't want this board to make a decision that leads to civil action and people having to get in lawsuits for things over a decision that we made, like unintentional consequences, I guess is what I'm saying. That's what I want to
Well, the
avoid.
civil action would likely be between the property, this property owner and this board.
Well, all right.
I have a question. I noticed well, first of all, I don't know what a replat is, so I don't know the significance of that, one. Two, I see.
Replat is when you plat over something that has already been platted once.
What year did that happen?
Well, but what does that mean? Why did they do that? Did they divide it into 4 lots, or, I don't
It's
know,
a-
why
well-
would someone do that? Just curious.
Under modern theory, not having gone back and looked at the 70s, this says the portion of a tract 3, which then means that they were carving up lots from a tract, which is a larger section of the plat.
All right, and so, see, I notice on the right, that long, narrow strip, which, is that a right-of-way? An easement? What is that?
It is not a right-of-way. I believe it's an easement. I think if I'm reading it, I think it's 30-foot drainage easement. Amy, wasn't that what y'all saw?
Yes, it reads 30-foot drainage utility and private ingress and egress easement. So it's access.
Whose district is this?
Mine.
Ingress and, private ingress and
Private
egress.
road.
Okay, so then I noticed that the lot to the north also had that road. That project had a road also that he is vacating, an easement or whatever you want to call it. So, to me, these parcels were separated potentially by a road. Why? The
I
one to the
understand
north.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
and that one was actually, so that one is perpendicular to
Right.
what was on the image.
Right, so these are kind of like partitioned off.
Access.
So I feel even stronger in your position. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because the project to the north was essentially like a flag lot, and so
Yeah.
that had a potential access, which I believe that applicant has an agreement to try to dedicate to that community.
Chair, I like,
All kinds of illegal stuff going on these lots too, I hate to say.
yeah, I don't know, I'd like to make, obviously, we don't know what the future is of this project in the lot, in the section to the north of it. Well, they're 2 different owners. Because whatever decision needs to be made, they need to be consistent and complementary of each other.
Agree with that.
I would just put out there as well, as a reminder, so in December, when we did execute the comp plan amendment with the sub-area policy, the sub-area policy restricted the zoning district to C1. So that's the option for the zoning matter here. If there would be a change, then you would have to come back in for
Well,
a comp
I'm
plan
not,
amendment.
I'm not so sure of what the fate of the project is to the north of it.
Correct.
And I'd like to have a better understanding of where that's going to land before this. Because depending on what happens to it, I think they need to be complementary and complementary to the neighborhood. So, I don't know, my instinct right now is until we get an update on what happens to the north of it, is to continue this. I think we need to see a bigger picture plan for what's going on here.
I'll support that too.
Mr. Yeager?
Yeah.
With all due respect, we've been in this process more than a year and a half, totally separate owners. We are, as I understand from Amy, that there is going to be a requirement that the property to the north, because it is an MPD, be required to stub out. We will accept that stub out and that connection through our property. They might want to come down and get to the light. But this is our own case. We're standing on our own 2 feet. Would respectfully request that we get approved today, and then whatever connection needs to be made, we're a Euclidean project. You don't have any ability to impose that on us, but we're agreeing to do it. We will accept their road coming through. We obviously want to coordinate with them where it goes, but they need to stand on their own, and we need to stand on our own, and like I said, we've been in this process over a year and a half. My client cannot move forward. He can't get any users for the property. He's standing still, paying a mortgage, and now I'm dependent on some other case till August?
No, I appreciate your advocacy, but these are definitely 2 complementary parcels of what's going on here. And I haven't had an update from staff or anybody on what's going on to the north and what's this. I mean, look, things are moving in. We're talking about view sheds earlier. You heard the debate over the views of boat shed covers in areas we represent. We got people who are upset because they're losing views of their pasture. Life is changing in Pasco, and these infill projects on major roadways are going to have an impact and change life on people a little bit. So the decisions as we come in and do these infill projects come through, we got one shot at making sure the decision is the best decision we make for the neighborhood and for the betterment of our county. So a few more weeks, I think, is appropriate because I'd like to get an update from staff on what's going on to the project to the north of it. So I'd like to continue this for another couple of weeks until I get an update from whoever needs to come see us. And Mr. Rose, if you and your folks want to call our office, that way we can understand better from your part of the world, you know. So,
Commissioner, they have zoning approval already,
Have future land use.
future land use.
okay, we're allowed to continue.
This is your district. You think someone can build a house on that corner?
I mean, does this match our future land use map?
Yes,
So the rezoning would match it?
correct.
Then I'm okay with it.
And again, there's a sub-area policy attached to the comp plan, so the future land use, which means they're limited to C1 with restricted uses only.
Take a motion.
Okay. I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll to commissioner items. Did we finish everything else in the morning?
I believe you did.
Okay, Commissioner Oakley.
I have nothing. But
You have nothing?
But a 10-day trip to South Dakota and back.
Oh, how nice. Did you
Rub
go-
it in.
You could have gone to my NACO conference that I couldn't
I
make.
went and saw Mount Rushmore, very beautiful.
That's where
You
they
ever
had
get
the
an opportunity to go, that's the place to go.
Shoot. I would
But I
have
don't
had
have
you stop
anything
in.
other than that.
They did a dinner, they had a special dinner at the Mount Rushmore inside it for the NACO my NACO Board of Directors
Oh,
meeting.
really? Yeah.
Yeah, if I'd known you were going, I would have
Mi-
hooked you up.
Nice facility.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Did you see the Badlands?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very interesting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's small,
I
though.
didn't throw anything there.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing that it's kind of mind-boggling what the Badlands look like.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder how it got the way it did. So I still have not wrapped my brain around it.
You know who lives right near there is Christy Sims, our former county attorney. She lives in the town just north of that town at the Badlands, yeah.
Yeah.
Commissioner Waitman.
Nothing pressing, just a little tickler reminder on seeing where we are with our tree ordinance coming up, and whenever it's appropriate to discuss the changes to the Live Local Act. We had some wins in session where we could opt out, but also essentially any zoning's in play now.
So I'll ask David Engel to speak to the tree ordinance, but regarding the legislative piece,
Just
we will have
high
an item.
level, since we're making, the afternoon sessions that we have.
Yeah, we're going to have a regular item at the July meeting
Okay,
to
then
discuss.
I'll wait on that.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, David Engel, Planning and Economic Development Director. The tree preservation and mitigation ordinance is in two parts. The board will see in the next couple of meetings, if not the next meeting, a tree mitigation ordinance where we're increasing the fees and broadening the use of funds so we can get that money out on the street for canopy trees. The second component is tree preservation. Last week, the Planning Commission held a workshop to discuss tree preservation. We have a draft ordinance all ready to go. We got their input. We're going to bring it back to the PC, and most likely, you're going to see that in front of you in September.
Very good.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner
Okay.
Yeager.
All right, so we went to, this is located at Signal Cove, and we had a grand opening for Grace's Food Pantry, and Jack was there as well, so I will speak for Jack. So this was great, and the community, when I got there, there was a line out the door, people waiting to get in, so I think they're really gonna benefit from this a lot. So next slide. So this was the Sunrise of Pasco Hope Breakfast, and this gentleman was Gabby Petito's dad.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, his wife was supposed to come, but she had COVID, and boy, was that really moving. And he was basically saying in a nutshell, like, he was a firefighter in Hillsborough, and he said, no, he was like, I wasn't trained to see the signs of what those red flags look like. So now it's his mission to make sure everybody knows what these flags are. So it was very, very moving and touching. Also, is it coming? Nope, okay. Well, Saturday, we are going to be having, we're partnering with the Department of Health, and we're gonna have a health and wellness fair at Moon Lake Park. So that's Saturday at 9 a.m. So if you know anybody that can benefit from that, please send them our way. And update on Area of Aging, we just had basically their audit went well. With the budget cuts, they had a great impact video. This lady, she was 107 pounds, had breast cancer, really couldn't get to the store or cook her own food, signed up for Meals on Wheels, and now she's 130 pounds. So just what a great story. So
There's your,
yep,
healthcare
that's, and here's our flyer for Saturday. So if you guys could share it on your social media, if you live on this side, that would be very helpful, because we're trying to get as many people to our event as possible.
Very nice.
And that's all I have.
Just two quick items. First, as a reminder, your budget workshop is this Thursday at 9 a.m. here in Newport Richey, so we'll be discussing all things budget. The other thing is as of effective today, we've rescinded the burn ban, and so that's being communicated through the appropriate outlets. That's all.
Are you next?
No, I'm
Jeff,
next, but
you're
I don't
next.
have anything, so go ahead.
And I do not have anything.
All right, and I'm gonna, just so you know, I'm gonna not do my CNU stuff because we have two commissioners gone and I wanna save all that for that. So, going through mine real quick, we'll see what pops up here. Attended the Sports Coast Tourism Banquet, and that's why I missed the NACO Board of Directors meeting. Hopefully they don't kick me off, but I just felt I needed to be there as the chair. Got to sit next to Tony Dungy. Were you there? Oh, yeah, you were on my table. Yeah. Yeah. What an amazing man. Just amazing man. And he learned a lot about Pasco that he didn't know about, even though he comes up here to cycle frequently. So that was kind of cool that he rides our trails.
His kids went to high school here.
And his kids went to high school here, yes. Land O'Lakes, I think, right? Land O'Lakes High School. So, attended the Station 17 ribbon cutting. Lisa, you were also there, and so was Commissioner Oakley. It's a beautiful, beautiful fire station. I did a trade mission to London. Mayor Castor, the chair of Hillsborough County was there, and the chair of Pinellas County, the mayor from Clearwater, and the mayor from St. Pete, and Tampa Bay Partnership was also there, and there were some other people. Really a great mission. This is just our private dinner that we went to. We met with, let's see if you can see it here. So this table here at with the long table, those are all, that was put on by the British American Chamber. Those are all business people who are wanting to move their companies to Florida. So it was a really cool opportunity for all of us to, say why they should move to Tampa Bay. We spoke a little bit about our individual counties, but we, said the mission about coming to Tampa Bay. But we also had some private meetings, and Turner was running around everywhere with private meetings. I did get to meet, I don't have the picture here, I should have taken it. The gentleman he's not the president, but he's very high up in the company that is putting their North American headquarters in my district. It's called G&H, they're defense contractors, and they bought Neopta, which used to be Photonics. So they're over there on Photonics Drive, and they are, they have 5 or 6 locations in the U.S., and this is going to be their North American headquarters. And they were very excited to hear about AmSkills, and we may have some opportunity to get some more of their company located here in Pasco County. So that was a great meeting. And that other picture, go back one. Also, we were at where we're in this one of these, this upper left one. We were at the embassy, and the State Department brought all kinds of business people there who are looking to move to their businesses or expand in the Tampa Bay area. So it was just meeting after meeting after meeting. All right, what's next? Oh, my staff attended the Sparrows Town Hall. And they also went to look at the Zephyr Hills where they're building the container homes. And I look forward to getting out there myself. I haven't been there, but these are some pictures that they took of the, of that business. This is Buena Vista Lane. You don't know how many years it took us to get this done. I think Buena Vista was one of the worst paved roads in Pasco County.
Have you been driving down Green Key ever?
Yeah, it's bad. I'm getting calls about Green Key too, but Buena Vista was really bad. The Pappas family has a ranch at the end of this, so they're driving down there in their nice cars, and they're getting their tires aligned, their cars aligned like every week. I literally went door to door making sure people signed up for the PVAS, and we got it to 100, not 100%, but we got it to over 50. And it passed the PVAS, but it took a really long time because they had a big drainage issue that we had to work out with DOT. Looking at that picture, I sure do wish we had put the power lines underneath. That's kind of rough looking. Kind of sad about that one. There's no street trees or anything, so that's gonna be a hot road, but I know the people are glad that they have
Looks a
nice.
lot better.
Yeah, it looks a lot better. Yeah. Now they're gonna be calling us because they're racing on that road. You know that. You know that's coming.
Yeah.
So skip the the CNU stuff. I want to tell you there'll be a survey coming out about childcare. Pasco County's been looking at operating our own childcare facility. We've been in talks with the school district for about 2 years now. And so we're going to be sending out a child care survey, and we hope that you'll help spread it out to all the employees. But I think it's, as you saw on the information from the status of women, that's one of the major issues, that and affordable housing. And I want to quickly talk about my backyard chicken ordinance. And I'm hoping that we can bring that back up. Not everyone wants some, but there are some people in the county that would like the opportunity to have their own chickens in their backyard. And, my niece had a chicken coop in her backyard in Seminole Heights in Hillsborough County. Doesn't bother the neighbors. There's no roosters. You get to collect your own eggs in the back. Doesn't smell. They make no noise. So you'd be surprised at how many of our residents have them already, but they're not legal.
Mm-hmm.
So we did this chicken ordinance a while ago, and then Wilton was in the egg business, I think, and he didn't really want to see it, I don't know if I should say this.
Can't do the egg business.
And so, but
That's
now he's
commercial.
not. He sold his egg business.
Well, you
Not
can't
that-
do your egg business.
So I would love for us to be able to bring this back.
There are some areas that I agree with you, some areas really need that. I mean, and really the way things are, egg prices going sky high, it's.
And it's good
So-
for the kids
Really
to
helps
see
people.
where food comes from.
I lived in River Crossing, and my son at 10 goes, "Mom, I want to be a chicken daddy." And I said, "What?" So that's what he said. So he went and we bought chickens, and I asked the HOA, and they said there are no rules whatsoever against having chickens. So we had
See?
chickens.
Yeah, some HOAs might not allow it, and those rule over
They
the
were
county.
quiet.
I think there's some zoning issues about that.
So, well, good, I have support for the chicken ordinance.
I think I just counted to 3.
Yes, so let's bring that back, and, we don't want roosters, limit the number and all that happy stuff. So, David, at our next board meeting, we'll do a little presentation on some of the things we learned at the CNU conference.
Yes, ma'am, I'll need 4 hours.
I know, it was fabulous.
That's out.
It was fabulous, that's all I want to say, so. Okay,
Well, good.
I think we're done.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, yeah, all the constitutionals and the.
Stormwater carries these pollutants directly into fish, waterfowl. Storm drains are meant for clean rainwater. Discharges are illegal. If you suspect an illicit discharge, please contact Pasco County Department of Public Works at 727-834-3611.
It's a good idea to put together a preparedness kit or go bag for yourself and your family that is ready to grab at a moment's notice. Everything you need for your kit is listed right in the Pasco County Disaster Guide, found on our website and in the My Pasco app. Many of these items are probably already in your home. Start packing your kit with the basics: drinking water, foods that your family actually likes to eat. If your family doesn't eat a certain food, they most likely won't want to eat it during a disaster. As for the canned foods you do like, make sure you include a manual can opener. Include a week's supply of medicine for you and your family, along with a first aid kit and hygiene items, like toothbrushes, diapers, and extra clothing. Write down important phone numbers. You'll want to gather your important paperwork, like medical records and insurance documents. Be sure to keep all that paperwork in a sealed plastic bag so they won't get wet. Remember, when the power goes out, there's a possibility that it won't come back on for a while, so toss a book and some games into your go bag. Whether you shelter in place, go to a shelter, or evacuate, having these items gathered and ready to go at a moment's notice will help you reduce your stress when dealing with a disaster.
Hey Tampa Bay, let's come together to conserve water. When it rains or rain is in the forecast, skip a week of watering and save up to 2,500 gallons of water. Once a week watering restrictions are in effect. Know your day, Tampa Bay. Go to mywaterday.org.
Have you met Ted? Pasco County's Transportation Engineering Department, or TED, is responsible for building and operating a safe, connected, and efficient transportation system for everyone. We ensure public funds go to the best transportation projects.
Hi, I am Ted.
We build new roads, turn lanes, bike lanes, and sidewalks.
I am Ted.
We install traffic signals and ensure they operate properly.
I am Ted.
We make sure that property lines for new development are accurate.
I am Ted.
We build pathways and make crosswalks safer.
I am Ted.
TED works to provide a great transportation system for all of Pasco County. If you have a question, concern, or request for our transportation team, just visit our website and search TED.
The average shelter return to owner rate for cats is less than 2%. That means if you bring a community cat to our shelter, it's not likely they'll end up being returned to their caregivers. Cats in our communities often have one or more caregivers, and they usually hang out in their home area. The best thing to do for these cats is to leave them be. Share that message and you too can help battle pet overpopulation.
If you're concerned the kittens have really been orphaned, meaning they haven't been moved or you're sure mom hasn't been back in at least 8 consecutive hours, then you can step in and care for the kittens. Animal Services offers resources on our website about kitten fostering, spay and neuter services, trap rentals, and vaccinations. Whether you have a single community cat or a bunch of kitties, we encourage you to contact us at 813-929-1212 or through our website for more information on our SNP Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, Release program. This means healthier and fewer community cats in your neighborhood. Healthier because we can prevent diseases like rabies, and fewer because all of the cats that we treat are also spayed and neutered. Cats are eligible for the program at 8 weeks old. Pasco County is a strong and growing community, and through our combined efforts, we can help save lives with 3 simple words. Leave them be.